Recording has started.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Committee for Members in Industry and Business of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, I heartily welcome CA Ranjit Agarwal ji, Chairman CMIB, CA Dr. Raj Chawla ji, Vice Chairman CMIB, Central Council Member CA Danyavas Sharma ji, and SIRC Chairman CA Chinamastan Talkaila ji. We are awaiting Dr. Sridhar Muppala also. I welcome all of you to this campus placement program organized by the Committee for Members in Industry and Business. I would straight away like to start with CA Chinamastan Talkaila, Chairman SIRC, addressing the gathering. Masal, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Pankaj sir. Respected CA Ranjit Agarwal ji, Chairman of the Committee for Members, Industry and Business, and CA Dr. Raj Chawla, Vice Chairman of CMIB, PC members from our Hyderabad, Danyavas Sharma, and the members who will join likely the CA Muppala Sridhar, and the past Chairman of Hyderabad branch, Pankaj Trivedi, and other dignitaries. My dear young and dynamic members, very good afternoon to all. We are one of the proud members in the profession having joined our elite professional fraternity. ICA welcomes you all with the good wishes, and my dear colleagues, I joined with these organizers and my other colleagues to congratulate each one of you and to wish the bright career and growth. I deem my presence at this placement orientation program a great honor and an opportunity to meet virtually the new entrants to our profession. As indeed, it's a privilege for me to be here before you as a chairman of SIRC to share my thoughts with these young and dynamic professional colleagues. My dear young members, CA is the profession that's accorded the highest respect and recognition from the society. Please always keep in mind the basic values, which are 5, I can say that, which will add the immense value and recognition to you. These are the first one is integrity, the second one is the sensitivity, the third one is the creative thinking, and fourth one is the confidence, and the last one is service mindedness. My dear young members, I want to address and I want to advise to especially the new qualified chartered accountants. And keep in that always, remember we are only 3 lakh plus chartered accountants in our country having more than 130 plus crores population. And don't be in hurry to run around the packages. First decide your long-term goal, like where you want to see yourself after 5 to 6 years, then take the right decision towards the right future steps. Don't change the companies infrequently. Be stick to one organization at least 4 to 5 years before looking up the another opportunity. Unless you spend the good time with the company, we don't understand the full structure of the organization in all respects. And I always be touch with the institute activities and with the good friends and family members so that we get that updates, the latest developments in our professions. Members, anyhow, we are always available to guide to you all as I could get the information. I believe the numbers of offers being given by the organization coming up for the campus placements almost all equal to the number of participants. My suggestion to you to put a few more efforts to get the place in a good organization which we are expecting. With this, I offer my greetings and good wishes to all of you and very happy and prosperous day ahead. I wish the years brings to you happiness and prosperity in the profession and in the personal field. I once again wish the young members with the bright future and wish them to bring laurels to our themselves and to the institute to which we belong and identify as a proud members of our great ICA. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mastan sir. May now request Sridhar Muppala, Central Council member, to give his brief address.
A very good afternoon to all. The respected chairman of SARC, Chinnamastan, my colleagues in the council, Dayabai, Rajbai, and Ranjit Agarwal sir, and as always, the person who comes forward for all the activities initiative, Pankaj Trivedi sir, and to all the newly qualified members awaiting for a big day of campus placement, a warm welcome to all of you. So, first of all, thank you for giving this opportunity, because it's always a happy moment to share with the young colleagues in the profession who are joining and who are the torch bearers of the profession in the coming days. So let me share a few of my thoughts. The first and the foremost is, I always had a doubt during the parental days, our parents' generation, they used to join and retire in the same organization. But the same is not happening nowadays. So I asked one guy who was committed and who stuck to the same organization for almost 20 years, now what is that encourages you to continue in the employment? Now one thing which he told, which I never remembered till date is, see, if you think that you are working for some organization, you are always an outsider to it, and your approach of work and your decision makings will vary. But in whichever company you are working, if you think it is my organization, it is my own organization and work, I am saying your decision making and your priorities will undergo a change. I request all the young generation to make sure you own the organization for which you are working. They don't try to compare and see what is missing with other organization, or what exactly I am not getting and all. There is no such organization, including our own. When we start up our own, we know how much adjustability we'll have, how much love and affection we carry even for a small thing. So we need to have the same attitude. So instead of looking at the other side, that what is missing, try to see it as an opportunity which an institution has given. Because I can never forget the organization where I work, because today whatever we are, they gave us an opportunity on that day. They believed us only because of the qualification what we have, that is chartered accountancy. Now it's up to us to prove ourselves, to show our commitment. As Mastan sir was rightly saying, I mean to say the first and the foremost, we need to have that integrity. Integrity is the first and the foremost factor, without which we can't even see the opportunities what we have. Instead of blaming that, no, I didn't got an opportunity, now have that vision of seeing the opportunities which are widespread open to you. So that is the first integrity factor. Second one, this is the age at which you have a time and you have an opportunities to explore. So don't try to restrict yourself. No, I'll do this limited job. No, this is only my duty. I was not told. Nothing like that. So please come forward. Make sure you have an initiative approach. Whenever an opportunity or a work comes, see it as an opportunity. Don't see it as an additional burden, because that will open the doors for you. That is the one which shows you the light for your future. So that initiativeness is the second factor. And the third one, opportunities today are abnormal. In the recent bank audit seminar, our vice president was sharing the statistic. Across the India, the vacancies or the organizations came for campus placements at 11,000, and we have 9,000 members that have applied. So that itself on the paper within campus, there is a gap of 2,000. And just imagine off campus, how many placements are there. But one small thing we were listening from all the recruiters or all the CFOs or CEOs when we are talking, is that knowledge wise they are wonderful, but probably they need some patience. So that is what is missing. So I request all the youngsters, so whenever a problem comes, please don't run away. Convert into an opportunity. It's always, you can't show a solution for every problem. At time shows you the problem. For that, we need to have that patience. So the third thing I suggest is, please have the patience. The fourth factor, as Mastan sir was saying, make sure you have a vision. We should be clear enough what we want to do. What exactly is my capability and caliber. So unless you don't know your strengths, you cannot expect the other person to recognize it. So please have an introspection, because each one is designed separately. Don't compare yourself with somebody else. You are unique in yourself. You are capable of yourself. So don't try to compare with somebody and try to match it. You have that unique capability. Try to introspect, identify, and start working on that. Opportunities are abundant. Today, the so-called very successful people also started with the first step only. So you are exactly at the journey of your first step. Now convert that opportunity into multifolded and make sure you are the winner in the coming days. And the last one, you are the torch bearers of the profession. Whatever you achieve will add a feather to the profession. Even if we miss out something, we have a wrong representation, profession has to take that damage. So let's be a little responsible to the profession and let's be a guide to the upcoming generation. Don't say that I am done, I am happy. No, it is we, profession or all colleagues as a whole should be happy. So please come forward as a social responsibility to help the next generation. And in your journey also, at any point of time you need an assistant, we as a team ICI, we are always at your service and will be happy enough to do that. So I once again wish you all the young members who are taking up this campus placement. So go with a respect, demonstrate yourself, don't have the fear factor. There is nothing like that. All of us also started that journey. It's all about the confidence with which you start. I know that you people add that and bring a laurels to the profession. I once again thank you, Dayabai, and all the people or the team for giving me this opportunity. So I wish you all the best. Keep doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sridhar sir. Straight from the heart, as usual. Okay. Yeah, I'm becoming your fan. May I now request CA Danyavas Sharma, Council Member of ICA, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Pankaj Bhai. Respected Chairman of CMIB, Ranjit Agarwal ji, thank you very much for making it happen in Hyderabad and state of Telangana. This campus placement, which is virtual, and I can only compliment to you an extent where this entire campus placement during the pandemic, which was being on a centralized basis, has been done at the state level basis. So thanks to you and the entire team, which is actually working relentlessly on this entire development and this project as such. Rajji, thank you very much. You have been one such great support to Ranjit Bhai for giving this kind of thought process to ensure that regionally we are able to catch up and ensure that our people requirements are being also met at appropriate time. Followed with Sridhar, who has been my council colleague from Hyderabad. It is really a pleasure to have two batsmen, one on the batting side and another on the running side. So it makes a whole lot of difference and gives me a lot of confidence, Sridhar, to stand on the other side of the pitch because you are going to hit the sixes. So I'm really happy for that. And the first person of the SIRC, Chinnamastan sir, thank you very much for joining us today and giving your words of wisdom, because it matters a lot when we talk about from the south point of view what is important, and you being the first person, it makes a whole lot of difference. Pankaj Bhai, always as usual, you have been a great support for ensuring that this youth gets this entire approach of learning just one day before the campus placement. What happens is, example, which all of us as a council members or branch members or as a chartered accountants will agree, Ranjit Bhai, when we do 7 days before, on the date of examination, we think that whether we have read it or not, and we get confused. So doing 1 day before the campus placement, it makes a whole lot of difference for these young brats to move forward and look in from a different perspective. So youngsters, I think it is a time where, I would like to compliment each one of you to successfully complete your chartered accountancy course and, coming forward for facing a new world. If you ask me, after facing tomorrow, you will say, before passing exam was little easier. After passing is little difficult. Rather, when you open the door, you will not see another room. You will see a huge sky, just like which is behind Pankaj Bhai's screen. It's a huge sky. There is no end to it. And you will actually get lost. Where do I move forward? This is where ICI is playing a pivotal role to ensure that this campus placement effectively happen for guiding you people. Today we have these 3 topics which are there. I know Ranjit Bhai is going to talk about it. So let me avoid those 3 topics which I am going to just cut it short. But the point which Sridhar or Mastan has specifically talked about, I would like to talk one more thing, which is primarily continued education. Please understand one thing. During your articles, where you have worked with a principal, it would have not been a 360-degree world. Understand one thing, you will be accepted, appreciated, and adored only if you have knowledge across the length and breadth of the business. Today, chartered accountants is not required for filing a return, but today we want it as a business manager or a business partner. When you are being taken as a GM or might be accounts head or whatever, in whichever capacity, you need to be very specific how you are going to add value to the organization. You will be well respected only and only if you are adding value on a regular basis, which is the most critical part. For that, I would like to just request you to note down one statement which I am giving you. Millions of people can believe in you, and yet none of it matters if you don't believe in yourself. You first believe in yourself, that will matter a lot. And you can believe in yourself only and only if you have that abundant knowledge in your mind, at least the basic, and be bold enough in your interviews that if you don't know, you don't know. Don't worry. Remember 3 Idiots. As simple as that. In 3 Idiots, very categorically, he said, sir, badi mushkil se ye attitude paya hai. So first and the foremost thing which people are going to see in your interview is your attitude. Knowing or not knowing, no one in the world can actually know everything. Don't worry about it. If you don't know, say that you don't know. But the most important part, again, is the attitude of entrepreneurship is to be demonstrated somewhere in the process, because businessmen today wants people with enterprising approach. Don't think that you are not able to communicate well. Think it your regional manner. No matter. But just think it, apply your common sense and move forward. And one request, one more thing which I have for you all people is don't compare, compliment. What I would like to say is don't compare with the previous person who has got what kind of job. You think about what he has done it and what you can learn from that person at that moment of time, because this will actually give you one more step. If you are on the 3rd position or 4th position of your interview, you will learn 3 different ways of people who have actually acted upon. So there will be something new which will be there. So compliment, take people knowledge in the entire process before you move forward. And the most important part, which very nicely covered by our Vice President sir, was with regards to the demand and supply. Today, I think even if Ranjit Bhai has to sit and pass n number of chartered accountants also, the difficulty is that demand is so high that supply is not sufficient. So which I think the chairman is going to talk, because he will have full statistics on this particular matter. Friends, I would like to tell you one thing. These 3 sessions which are of 45 minutes each, please listen to them, because it is going to come out from a realistic thought process which people are going to come and share. And there cannot be a better person than Jay Bhai, who has been our past council member, Jawar sir, and Pankaj, who has actually been interacting on a regular basis with multiple CFOs. And he knows what is the expectation which is there, which gaps are to be captured. These all can be taken up. Ranjit Bhai, in sum total, thank you very much for creating this entire opportunity, for getting this entire thing in a online mode. I hope all these young chartered accountants are going to take, learn a lot and take with them all the points. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Mute, Pankaj bhai, you are muted.
Pankaj bhai, unmute.
I'm really sorry, Debe. I got engrossed in your speech so much. Thank you. And before I invite Dr. Raj Chawlaji, I welcome Jay Chera sir to the meeting. And friends, I promise you it will be one of the interesting talk from him. May I now request Dr. Raj Chawla, Vice Chairman CMIB, to address the.
Thank you, Pankaj Bhai. Good afternoon to all. My respected Chairman of CMIB, CA Rajit Agarwal ji from Kolkata, Chairman of SIRC, CA Chana Mastan ji, my dear brother CA Dayanawaz Sharma ji from Hyderabad, my council member, my also colleague in the Central Council, CA Sridhar Mopala ji, and our motivational speaker and past Central Council member CA Jaichera ji, and past chairman of SIRC CA Pankaj Trivedi ji, and all my dear newly qualified chartered accountants. Good afternoon to all of you. As told by CA Dayanivas Sharma ji, that don't compare with anyone. As said by Swami Vivekananda ji, that don't compare yourself with anyone. Please do whatever is good. Because when we compare, then we may go on a wrong way. But if you are doing good on the right path, first of all, you should understand that we have to progress in a right direction. And that is only possible when we are on the right path. And right path will be right step in right direction with consistent efforts. Also, my friend Sridhar told that we should take the things in a very positive way. So friends, I want to share with you that positivity is the thing which makes our destiny positive. If our thought is positive, definitely our destiny will be positive. It is very beautifully explained by someone that watch your thought, that become your word. Watch your word, that become your action. Watch your action, that become your habit. Watch your habit, that become your character. And watch your character, that becomes your destiny. So friends, always take the things in a very positive way. If your thoughts are positive, your destiny definitely will be positive. So don't think that this company is doing this or that company is doing this. Take the things always in a very positive manner. One thing more I want to share with all of you, that we are so important in this nation that the establishment of Chartered Accountant Act was on 1st of July 1949, whereas the Constitution of this India was adopted on 26th January 1950. So we are so important to this nation, as told by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Sahab, that we are the partner in the nation building. So friends, my best wishes to all of you for your campus placement. So as told by our chairman also, SIRC, that take the things in a confidentiality. Take everything in a very confidential manner, and integrity should be clear. So my best wishes to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Raj sir. Thank you. May I now request Chairman CMIB, CA Ranjit Agarwal ji, to kindly address the gathering.
Thank you very much, Pankaj ji. Always a guiding force and very experienced CA from Hyderabad, past Chairman Hyderabad branch. My Vice Chairman Raj Chawla, Dr. Raj Chawla from Delhi, and always supporting the cause of this committee. And he's taking one step further by taking suo moto all the work which the committee is doing. My two very dear friend, Dayanivas Sharma from Hyderabad, council member, and he has done a lot of work as far as digital accounting standard board is concerned, peer review board is concerned, SSP portal is concerned. So he is bringing a lot of innovation and hard work to the table of the council, and he is rightly a very hard-working council member of our institute. So thank you very much, Daya. And another very gem from Hyderabad has joined the council, Sridhar Mopala. He is a man from education background, He speaks from the heart, and whatever interaction I had with him, whatever he speaks, he's a very pure and pious soul. And whatever he has said today from his own heart, and students and the member will definitely will be benefited whatever wisdom or guidance he has given. My senior member in the council, Jay Chera from Surat, he is one of the speaker of this today's session. Thank you, Jay Bhai, for giving your consent and joining this session from Hyderabad. Chairman of the SIRC, C.A. China Mastan, and all the young and bright members of this ICI. First of all, my congratulations to all of you for joining this family of 1 million people. We are a 7.5 lakh students and 3.5 lakh members, and you have become joining this family. It's a huge network. First of all, you must feel proud that you have achieved something in your life by being a chartered accountant now. Since the kind of organization you have joined as a chartered accountant, you are not only recognized in India but globally. Institute of Chartered Accountant has a footprint not only in India but 75 cities of the world. So wherever you will go now, you will find a brother in your capacity as a chartered accountant wherever you go. First of all, friends, once you have qualified as a chartered accountant now, and you are opting for going for an industry. So the first and foremost duty which we have seen in the past 5 to 10 years, the word accountant is no longer associated with the chartered accountant, because the role of the accountant is no longer is the work of the CA. We are not accountant now. We are not doing 10 to 5 data entry or other work, filing or other work. Chartered accountant now are working across the globe as a CEO and the CFO of a company. Once you join a company, say for coal industry, you are not working as a data entry operator. You understand the coal market, coal industry of India. You also understand the coal market globally. Then you advise the board what best can be done for the growth of the company in which you have joined. So you are not an accountant. You are a complete solution provider. That's why we have seen most of the CA who have joined a company, they are now in the best of the position. They are not sitting in the office. They are sitting in the boardroom and framing the policy of those kind of company. So my compliment to all of you for joining this CA course. Number two, since you will be going through this 3 technical session of 45 minutes each, where all the 3 experts will tell you. But the most important part of your interview would be that the confidence, whether you are confident that you are a CA and you can do anything. I have seen your attitude and confidence will decide whether you will go for a particular X industry or Y industry or where. We have seen that a chartered accountant degree is just a certificate to get into the doorstep of a company. You are just allowed to get into the doorstep of a company, but now your attitude and your confidence will decide where you will go. In one of the interview, one student was asked 10 questions. Out of the 10 questions, he could not answer 8 questions, and he could answer only 2 questions. So he was asked by the interviewer, why I should take you in my organization? He said, sir, although I may not be able to answer most of the questions you have asked, but the kind of syllabus I have gone through, the kind of training I have gone through, the kind of conditioning of mind has been made by ICI that I can learn, I can adapt, and I can deliver in the shortest possible time. On this one line, he was selected. So the knowledge which you will gain, you will learn now. You have got a degree just to get into the doorstep of the company, but your attitude, your confidence will decide where you will go. I will take it other way around. If a company does not take you, it is the loss of the company, it is not my loss. The company should regret that I should take that fellow that point of time. So this kind of attitude you will have, then you can do wonders. If you see the data, 144 companies come campus this time. This is the double from the last term. And the vacancy they have offered, 11,463 vacancies they have offered. Now see, 14,000 CA qualified in your batch. Out of 14,000, 9,900 only opted for campus. Means rest already had the better opportunity. Out of this 9,900, only 9,000 given the consent of yes, we are going for the campus. So 900 also got the better opportunity. Now if the vacancies are 11,463 and the students are only 9,000, you can see the how demand of the Indian chartered accountant increasing day by day. Because of the two things, we are the chartered accountant of the world in the best way. We have the knowledge, we have the huge syllabus, and we are adaptable. So the kind of huge syllabus we have gone through, the kind of learning attitude we have, and the kind of adaptability we have, that's why we are in a huge demand across the globe by every professional, every company, every CA firm. Even CA firms are not getting CA. Even if you are not recruited, say for example, you can do wonders in practice also. Huge professional opportunity now in GST, corporate law, forensic audit, insolvency, valuation, Indies, what not. You name it. It's a huge opportunities are flooded at your doorstep. So my suggestion to all of you, be confident and first of all be proud that you are a CA and you must know the institute also. There is a saying that first we learn, then we earn, and then we return. So once you join a company, you must return to your alma mater, your ICI. So don't forget ICI, take the membership of ICI. There are so many activities done by this committee for you as a member of the ICI. We have the management development program with the IMs. We have the rank holders program. We have the MOU with the Howard University, which is coming very shortly. We have so many CFO and CEO meets. So we have across the time 24/7 CA job portal, which we are running throughout the year. Even if you are not selected this time, it doesn't matter. So whole opportunities are there. 3 months, 6 months, you will be absorbed. So I think you must feel proud and confident you are going to face this interview board. Come what may, you will come out with a winner. With these words, I once again compliment and congratulate you for this successful completion of the CA course, and I wish all of you a very, very bright future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ranjit Bhai. Dear friends, the message is loud and clear. Being a chartered accountant, you are on a very firm wicket to bat on. But please understand, we also need to know that we have to keep in mind the confidence in us, the image of the institute, the integrity, and so many other factors to ensure that we not only keep the brand ICA image constant, but add to it. So that's all about the inaugural thing. So on behalf of Committee of Members in Industry and Business of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, I sincerely thank Ranjit Agarwal ji, Raj Chawla sir, Dayanu Sharma ji, Sridhar Mupala sir, and Chinnamastan Telkala sir for being with us for the inaugural session. And now we'll just straight away go into the technical sessions, and we have a young and dynamic CA Jayachera sir with us. CA Jayachera ji is a senior member with admirable credentials and immense knowledge. He has to his credit several degrees, but friend, if I start reading the degrees, this 40 minutes would be over, and his only problem is he cannot have a visiting card. He has to print a pamphlet. Okay, he has also studied advanced management at various reputed institutions in Italy, Germany, US, UK, and China. He has been associated with ICA activities since 1995. He served as chairman Surat branch in 2005 and vice chairman WRC in 2012. He served for 3 consecutive terms in the Central Council till 2022. He has held many committees as chairman, namely Professional Development Committee, Student Skill Enrichment Board, Peer Review Board, Committee for Capacity Buildings in Practice, Committee for Financial Markets, and Investors Protection. Friends, the next 2 paragraphs, though Jai Bhai may not like me to read, but take it as a presentation from me. It's very interesting. He has held many significant positions such as President of the Rotary Club in 2008, Member of Civil Defence, Government of Gujarat. Owing to his exceptional contributions, he has been awarded by Governor of Gujarat as Legend of Surat, by Health Minister of Gujarat as Star of Surat, by Member of Parliament as Jewel in the Crown, by Mayor of Surat as Suratna Sitara, and as a youth icon by a leading newspaper group, Dainik Bhaskar. He has been awarded by the President of India for getting first in India in research and is also awarded by Chief Minister of Gujarat for science and research. And now, while he is too passionate about finance, reporting and management accounting, he is equally passionate about piano, drums, photography, trekking. A state level winner in painting, singing, education and drama, he has acted in many Gujarati dramas and films. He has also participated in the Akshay Kumar International Martial Arts Competition. As an eloquent speaker, having keen interest in education, he has represented India at various prestigious fora for higher education at Los Angeles, Milan, Gango, Phuket, London, Paris, and so on. I present Jai Charya sir to the august audience. Over to you, Jai Bhai.
Thank you very much, Pankaj-ji. A very good evening to all of you. The Chairman of CMIB, Senior Council Member CA Ranjit Agarwal ji from Kolkata, CA Raj Chawla ji from Delhi, the Vice Chairman of the committee, my dear friend CA Dayanivas Sharma ji from Hyderabad, CA Sridhar Mupala ji, CA China Mastan ji, the Chairman SIRC, and CA Pankaj Trivedi ji. With Daya Bhai and Pankaj Bhai, we had number of programs in Hyderabad at COE. So I do remember a series of programs we did for MDP, where we got participants in. This is important for me to mention the new chartered accountants that the programs that we are doing at COE, we are getting participation not only from India, but I think more than 15 countries. More than some 15 countries participants joined us, and that is the power of chartered accountants. Well, the topic that has been given to me is from campus to corporates, and all the previous speakers, they have spoken so very well. Whatever actually I'm going to talk about, every point has been covered. But let me start in a different way. While my council friends, they say that proud to be chartered accountants, let me make a contradictory statement to start with. If you really want to be successful, then the first thing is forget you are a chartered accountant. Now, what does it mean? What I'm trying to say is, many times we have a notion, I'm sure you are not amongst those people, but there are people who have a notion that we are doing some course only to complete it. So just that chartered accountancy is over, so that the learning journey is over. Sorry, that should not be the case. This is just the beginning. अलग भाषा में कहें तो अभी तो पार्टी शुरू हुई है. So forget, if you will keep in mind that I am a chartered accountant, I am a rank holder, I cleared in first attempt, I did this, I did that, and too much of high attitude is there. Forget it. Now once you go into corporates, the most important thing is your attitude. Up till now, you are developing your technical skills, and of course you will keep on continuing with that. But when you go into corporates, one very important thing is people skill. How to be a part of the team. My friends, Sridhar ji and Dayanivas Sharma ji, I can see Raj Chawla ji, they will agree. Once you are in council, right? And just if you would like to discuss, this is what I believe, this is what I understand, I did this, I did that, it does not work. You have to understand the viewpoints of all other people. That will actually enrich you. And with that, you have to put forward your points. Rather than I attitude, you have to talk about you. You have to be a good team member. That is all the more very important. I think that is the first message that I'd like to take up. Well, because my previous speakers talked something about the interviews, I'll also devote some few minutes on interview and then come to some other aspects. Well, regarding interview, what you can expect in the interview, of course, some of the technical questions you can always expect. that is related to the profession, maybe something on finance, something on reporting, or something on management accounting, or whatever the case may be, depending upon the company that is interviewing you and depending upon the department in which you might be taken up. So technical things can always be there. And I think in the last few years, you have worked a lot on the technical skills. But along with that, what I believe is, you might be asked certain questions on the current issues. Now, on current issues, they might not ask you all very technical questions, but at least to ensure that, are you aware of what is happening currently? Now, the current issues may be even regarding Russia or Ukraine. That does not mean they expect you to be very much knowledgeable in that particular, but at least are you aware of the fact where the world is moving? Or maybe even, they might talk about, do you have some idea about artificial intelligence? Or do you have something about blockchain? Now here also, the interviewer is not expecting that you are excellent into artificial intelligence, but at least are you aware of the fact what is happening across the globe in terms of technology, in terms of economy? The questions can be something like, what is your opinion about the stock market? Now here, once again, the interviewer is just trying to see, are you aware of, have you the observation power? Now here, you can definitely have your own opinions based on your criteria, whether the stock market will move further in an upward direction, or maybe is going to be stagnation, or whatever the case may be. My point is that you can expect any such type of questions, but like Dayaniva Sharma ji told, that it is not essential that you know all the answers. If you are not aware of the answers, be very sincere and state very clearly that you don't know. But that does not mean that for every question you say, I don't know. Now, Ranjit Bhai gave an example where out of 10, 8 answers were not given. I hope that it does not happen with you. And it is not so that every time with 8 wrong out of 10, a person is picked up. Right? But please understand, the interviewer also knows very well. That with some 4 or 5 questions, nobody can be judged. So what actually is rather looking at is, number 1, your facial expressions. Number 2, your gesture posture. Right? In your gestures posture, is there humility or arrogance? They check it. At the same time, in their questions, they would be more interested to know whether you are interested to have a long-term commitment with the company or not. So when such type of questions are there, and if you start asking, telling that no, I am going to work only for 6 months and I am going to go into practice or this or that, then there are lesser chances of you getting selected by a company. A company might be more interested in hiring a person who wants to make a long-term relationship or career with a company. So they might have other questions like, what did you do in your horticulture? Some of the questions even you might judge. I can suggest that even 4 or 5 chartered accountants sitting together, young chartered accountants, you can start asking one another certain questions. There will be some questions which come up very commonly. Why should I hire you? What are the special skills that you have? Right? Certain type of whatever. So maybe, you can work upon such type of questions. One very important thing that you should do is, whichever company shortlist you, you should at least go through the financial statements of this company. You should at least know the product or service portfolio of that company. Similarly, you should have some basic idea about the industry in which this company belongs to. Suppose if Hindustan Unilever is going to take you up, then you should know what is HUL doing. Right? You should know how maybe it is a holding company or a subsidiary company. You should know, right, about that particular industry. Please do understand, up till now what you studied, that is not the only thing which is going to help you in the interview. And of course, in future, if you are going for an interview in a company, at least you are expected to know about that company. You might not be aware of everything about that company, but at least some basics of the company, some basics of the industry, you are expected to know. Now, moving further, because on interview, I am sure a lot has been spoken. So I'll go to the other aspect, and I'm sure after me, Pankaj Bhai is going to speak, and he speaks very well. He will cover up. I think he has been kept after me so that, whatever we spoke and something left out from our side, he can cover up it very well. That must be the purpose. Now let me come to the campus part once again, from campus to corporates. Friends, please to understand once again, up till now, you are more focused on the technical skills. You are on learning accounting standards, IFRS, or maybe code of ethics, or whatever the case may be. But now, along with that, the most important thing is management skills, people skills, interpersonal skills. That is, over a period of time, once you are taken up by the company, you are required to develop a good presentation skills, a very good communication skills. It is persuasive communication. It's not only that you speak and that is communication. No. How you speak in such a way that the other person feels that yes, this is what it should be, and he responds that way, the way you want it. Persuasive communication. Because corporate life means you are going to work in big structures, organization structures. Some structures might be rigid structures, some might be flexible. Within this structure, how to understand the entire corporate, how to understand the entire business, how to observe. So one very important that you are required to develop is observation power. Observation power. I am sure Dayanima Sharma ji, I can see him. He will agree with me when he came to the council. If for the initial years, if his observation power was good and he kept on observing the institute, the systems, some lacunas also, some good points, and observe each and every person with whom he had to work, whether an officer or a colleague, whether a subordinate or maybe superior, if you could observe him, then that was the most crucial thing, because you might be right, wrong, whatever. But if you are not gelling with other people, then even though you want to contribute, probably you cannot. One very, very crucial thing is observation. Observing other people, what they are, how the culture is there. So it's very crucial. I repeat, my friends, now that you have completed your chartered accountancy, tomorrow your interview might be there and you might be entering into a corporate. But what after that? I don't expect my chartered accountant to sit in the back office. I want him to come in the front office. Chartered accountants have tremendous knowledge, but for the purpose of success, knowledge is only one ingredient. There are many other aspects, and I am talking about these other aspects, because when it comes to knowledge, for 4 long years, you have already taken that knowledge, and who knows, more than 4 years also. So please understand, in terms of technical skills, you will keep on developing. That would depend upon the company where you join. Suppose you are joining a department where you are going to look into financial reporting, then naturally, even after completing your chartered accountancy, now you are going to work more and more on IFRS, understanding the nitty-gritties of IFRS. Similarly, maybe if you are taken up into finance department, so now you will have to get more and more acumen in the field of finance. If you are into the costing department, if you are taken there, then you have to understand the technicalities of that. So one is, I would suggest that what you have learned up till now is fine, but don't stop learning the technical skills in whatever department you are or whatever sector you want to make your career. At least keep on learning the technicalities of that sector. That is number one. Number two, try to broaden your horizon. When I say broaden the horizon, don't only learn the technical skills. Suppose you are into audit division, then don't only think about audit. Think in terms of management. Learn other aspects of management. I would suggest, young chartered accountant friends, that now you cultivate a habit that every month you will learn something new. Along with your technical skills that you are acquiring, you will learn something new. Maybe you might open a book on branding and learn how brands are created. When you are going to corporates, maybe in future, like my council friends, they told you that we expect you to be CEOs. But when you really want to be CEOs, then you don't only understand the finance function. You have the 360-degree view of the economy, of the corporate, of the industry. So here you can develop yourself someday reading some good book on branding, other day on leadership, someday on strategy. My point is that along with the technical skills, blend the element of management. blend the element of management. For that, it is not essential. It is not essential that you have to go to only some big management institute or B school. Well, if you are going for that, that is wonderful. But otherwise, ICI keeps on doing number of programs on management as well. As I said, my friend C.A. Dayanaya Sharma ji at the same Center of Excellence had kept number of MDPs, management development programs. So there also you'll get exposure to management. But my point is, keep on improving in terms of management, because what happens, technical skills help you to penetrate. But in order to elevate, what you require is people skills, right? That is the most important. Believe me, the team leader is not the person always with highest knowledge. The team leader is a person who can lead everyone, with whom other people are happy, right? Team leader is a person, I don't say you have to make everybody happy. No, you are not into business of that. But you are pleasant enough. You understand people. You understand their aspirations. You can take them together and they are happy to work with you. Then you are a team leader. So for that purpose, you have to learn management. Only finance or only accounting, only taxation does not suffice. So on one hand, you'll keep on learning the technical skills depending upon the corporate you join, depending upon the division or department you join, depending upon your future vision. But what is important for all of you, all the young people listening to me, unfortunately, as of now, I feel I'm talking to my iPad. I can only see Pankaj Bhai and Daya Bhai. So at least I know somebody is listening to me.
No,
Otherwise,
people are listening to you, Jay Bhai. 700.
Yeah. But otherwise, honestly speaking, and I'm sure both my friends Pankaj Bhai and Daya Bhai will agree, when the live audience is there, then what happens, we can look at their faces. There is a feedback. And on the basis of that, you can decide what point to, elaborate further, what point they already understood and when to skip and when to go to the other point. The matter is you can exchange the vibrations along with words. As of now, I am only sharing words, maybe, but I hope that some of my words are picked up by these young chartered accountant friends and they get the benefit out of it. So friends, please understand. Technical skills, management skills. And the third very crucial thing today, which can make chartered accountants wonderful and very useful for every organization, technology. Technology skills. By way of technology skills, I do not say you have to go ahead with maybe, you should understand all the details, Java or maybe SQL or maybe Python. I don't mean that you should not learn that. It is not essential that you go into the total depth of these things. But I believe that you should have a working knowledge on all these things, a working knowledge. And maybe you can have an in-depth knowledge also if you feel that interests you. Because just imagine finance, right? A chartered accountant along with the knowledge of management. And when I say management, it is not theoretical knowledge where we have learned 14 principles of Henry Fayol on books. No, right? Only if you know the 14th principle of Henry Fayol, esprit de corps, in theory, it does not work. But if you can actually understand that as a team, and if you can gel within a team, become a team member, and with your vision, and with how you deal with people, you turn up to be a leader. So that is what it is. And along with that, if technology is added, believe me, nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you from being the best in your industry. And industries will be happy to, retain you, to promote you. And soon, I'm sure we will see you as CFOs and CEOs very soon. So technical skills, management, technology. Now the fortunate thing for you is that, now this is also very important. You will start a job. Now once you will start a job, too much of your time will be consumed by the company. Now there are two options. Option number one, when you come back home in the evening, you might feel, oh, I worked a lot. Now this is enough. That is option number one. Now that is a sign of stagnation. Second option, oh, I learned something new. Up till now I did everything from a student's angle. It was a different game. Up till now I was playing IPL. Now I'm into the international cricket. It's a new experience. I'm enjoying and I am fresh. I'm young. I will learn something more. And maybe in the evening, maybe on EDX or Coursera or any other, today, your number of technology platforms, and you have short programs on, once again, strategy, leadership, marketing. Now you might feel marketing. I'm a chartered accountant, but I'm telling you once again, you have learned some of the peripheral areas of business, right? GST, income tax, these are all very important, very important. But look at from the point of view of a business. From a point of view of a business, these are some of the peripheral areas. And the very important thing is going to the nucleus. And that is where the value addition happens. As my friend, Dayaniva Sharmaji said, very important thing, value addition. See, whether it is personal relationship or professional relationship, if you can add value to the lives of other people, then people will chase you. I think that's a simple rule. If because of you, others are benefited, your colleagues are benefited, your company is benefited, your family is benefited, your friends are benefited, then everybody is running behind you. On a lighter note, you must have heard about it. Success is a relative term. It attracts more and more relatives. So, if you can create value, for others, then naturally people would like to flock around you. If you can create value for the corporates where you are working, there are two aspects. One is creating value, and second, to showcase that you have done it, to signify the other person that this is, you have been a part of it. I think in this second part, chartered accountants are missing. In practice, what we find is chartered accountants do wonderful work, but they are unable to communicate the efforts they have put in behind this work to the clients, and as a result, they are charging or they are getting lesser fees. So two important things are there: creating value and showing the world that you have created the value. Here also my friend Dayaniva Sharmaji is there, and I think this is the theme for council also and theme for everyone: creating and showing. I think most of the people are good only in either or, and that is a problem. Either you are not good at creating or you are not great in propagating it. These days, if you look at it, ICAI is improving in both the fronts. In the recent years, ICAI has created huge value. Of course, it has been doing for the 7 decades. But in the recent years, the way through the social media platform or that, you are propagating also very well. You are propagating also very well about the initiatives that ICAI is taking for the new members, for other existing members, for the students. So, 2 things are important: create value, and number 2, showcase it. So if you can do that, believe me, industry will be very happy to, absorb you, to continue with you. Think like an entrepreneur. Think like an entrepreneur, not as an orthodox employee. See, there are 2 options. If you really want to grow, there are 2 options. Fortunately, you are in a wonderful era. Believe me, there was no time as good as it is today. I'm sure when I cleared my CA some 25 years back, when Pankaj must have cleared, when Dayaji must have cleared, at that point of time, if there were 100 people in campus, maybe the job offering might be 25, 30 or something like that. Today the world has changed. The world is changed. People are waiting for you with open arms. The corporates are waiting for you with open arms. Come, we want you. So it's a wonderful time. How? Another way, today there is a beautiful concept called entrepreneurial employee. Up till now it was something like either you are an entrepreneur or you are an employee, something like that. Today there is a beautiful hybrid version, entrepreneurial employees. There are many companies which, rather than an orthodox setup, they have come up with flexible systems where they empower their employees, that you yourself identify, you find out what are the projects you will like to take up, and will empower you. The only thing that you have to ensure is value is being added, and the more value you add, the benefit that you get by way of your share, that also will be reasonably good. And today we have something like ESOP, and today you have something like startups. So my point is that you are into such an era that if you can contribute, if you can create values, and if you can signify that, the wonderful opportunities being an entrepreneurial employee. So either you can be an entrepreneur over a period of time, maybe you are entering into a corporate. Well, friends, my small suggestion to you, when you become a chartered accountant, you always had a doubt. Pankaj bhai, I'm sure you must also have been in the same position. I was also in the same position, whether to go into practice or to go into industry, or maybe, the third front. Many times people don't understand being an entrepreneur. So these options were there. But I would suggest student friends, means now the young chartered accountants, that even though you intend to go into practice, but at least go into corporates once. At least go there for some 2 years, 3 years, even though you intend to come into practice, have some exposure. The reason is that you have learned your income tax, GST audit very well, but by going into corporates, you will learn the sense of dressing, you will learn your communication skills, you will learn the documentation aspect, you will learn the systems, you will develop so many other aspects which otherwise straight away getting into a proprietor practice does not help. So go into that, and over a period of time, you might decide, you might have elevations in your corporates, or maybe you can come into your practice later on, and who knows, you may be an entrepreneur at all. But the best part is, today, you can be entrepreneur on your own. Even in corporates, you have a concept called entrepreneurial employees. And I hope that is something very important. Well, very quickly, I repeat, along with your domain expertise, please ensure that you invest into technology. You invest your time in learning technology, and today you have many resources. There are so many online courses on all the various aspects of technology, right? Maybe it is Excel or maybe some coding or whatever. Another important thing is you have to improve upon your drafting skills. Unfortunately, in the recent years, what we have seen is that while the IQ of chartered accountants have gone up, but the quality of drafting skill has gone down. One of the major reason is social media, slang language, and WhatsApp language. Because of that, there was one time when I'm sure we were not allowing a single spelling mistake. We are not allowed actually. If I would have made one single mistake, spelling mistake, till I was in college, my father would have taken me to task. I was told very clearly, spelling mistakes not allowed. Grammatical mistakes not allowed. There was a time. But today, of course, because of this great WhatsApp and all, we are used to having whatever type of language, right? So I would just say that when you go to corporate, please do understand, drafting skills are very important. Whatever you write, it is not something personal. It is for that particular company you are representing, a huge corporate. So improve upon the drafting skill. And quickly, to wind up, I would say one very important thing, maintain your health, invest into some good sports, and don't grow unnecessarily old. I cleared my CA 25 years back, but still today, I play sports, I take care of my health, and I still believe that I have just passed chartered accountancy. I am willing to learn new things, right? The most important thing is, when you go to corporates, there will be many people who will say that, no, now you become too serious. Sorry, one has to be sincere, but not serious. There is a thin line of distinction. Keep yourself young, energetic, enthusiastic, keep on learning new things. I repeat, technology, management, and I'm sure you'll have a wonderful future. Thanks a lot once again for providing this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jai Bhai. Don't grow unnecessarily old. I think there could not have been a better sentence. And in fact, seeing you at the beginning when you joined, I was wondering how students are allowed to join the inaugural. And then I realized it's Jai Bhai. Friends, Jai Bhai, everything was bang on, perfect. सिर्फ एक झूठ था जय भाई के पूरे बातों में कि he said Pankaj is kept after me so that I can miss. You would have by now understood that there is nothing which Jai Bhai doesn't just miss anything. Only thing, the idea of Danyavad Sharma was that if Jai Bhai is speaking and then Jawahar is coming to speak, and if there's a time shortage, then Pankaj can be dropped. So with that idea, I came in between, but nothing beyond it. But Jai Bhai, thank you very, very much. Believe me, I heard every bit of it, keeping my mobile off. And really, the students are lucky to have you here. Thank you very much, Jai Bhai.
Thank you, Jai Bhai. Thank you very much. I stayed back to listen to you only. It's always a treat to listen to you. Love you always.
I have my meeting, so I'll be leaving, Pankaj Bhai.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Over to you,
friends,
Pankaj.
we move. Yes, there. So, friends, we move on to the next session, which is expectation of a corporate from a freshly qualified chartered accountants. Friends, I before I actually start my PPT, couple of things I just wanted to talk here. All through your student days, when we are studying for this course, your parents should have told you one thing. Beta, just pass CA. Once you pass CA, your life will be bed of roses. Believe me, that is the biggest but the sweetest lie told by your parents. You heard the speakers, you heard a value a chartered accountant carries. At the same time, what has happened is, I would want you to know that you are not told about the thorns which are beside the roses. So I agree, a life of a chartered accountant is definitely a bed of roses, but definitely there are so many things which we need to be careful about and which we need to protect ourselves from to really enjoy the life of a chartered accountant. I would just like to have my PPT. Just give me 1 second. Let me share the PPT and thank you. But before I start my presentation, friends, I would like to give a disclaimer. The views expressed during this discussion are my personal thoughts based off my experience of working with various multinational companies, and my views definitely does not represent the views of my current or the prior multinational company clients. I have been working in payroll. My specialization is payroll, and being in payroll, I generally work with HRs and other senior finance executives in these multinational companies. And I'm doing this work from 1999, and often I would love to sit with them and discuss where the profession is heading, what do we actually require from the employees and all these things. And based on that, I have prepared my PPT. So here, first thing is, when I'm talking today, we are talking about the corporate multinational company jobs, and I'm not talking about the jobs with a partnership or sole proprietary concerns where the working or the dynamics of working are slightly different. So first, we need to understand, we are all appearing for interviews tomorrow, and as the statistics read out by our seniors show, there is an abundant demand for us, and I'm sure all of us would have one offer letter or the other by the time these interviews are over. So first thing, we would like to know, what is the corporate employment? What are we talking about corporate employment? And from the beginning, if we just go back to our study of Companies Act days, we were told that the company is an artificial person. And when we talk it as an artificial person, we generally talk as then there is no human element such as emotions in the company. But what we should know is that entire company is run by a group of people with all the emotions of failure, of success, of fire, of rigidity, of friendliness. Everything will be available in a corporate employment. Any corporate employment presents you a global exposure. It also gives you a lot of opportunities. When we are being hired by these companies, many of the companies have their presence not only in India or the city where you are applying for, but they are spread over a lot of countries. So once you work with employees or your peers from a different countries, you get to know their culture, their method of working, maybe their strengths we can adopt to make ourselves beautiful. And that is the opportunity which we get working in the multinational companies. Please understand one thing. Any corporate would like to use standardized processes and they would like to go with the best practices available in the company. While working in a corporate, please understand one thing. The processes are set and we are not supposed to break the processes. Once a method is decided by the company that we are going to take up the project in this particular way, then it is important that we follow the process, because we are not doing a small work, and the work what we are doing is connected at various levels involving sometimes companies, our own branches internationally. So once we all start deciding to do the work as we want, there could be problem. So we need to ensure that everything in the company is process driven and not person driven. Sometimes the companies are so particular about the process and all is that you must be a brilliant person. You have solution for everything, but they don't bother about it because they don't want to be a person dependent. They want everything to be done in a process itself, and because something happens to you or suddenly you have to change the job, the company would like to ensure that the work continues. So this is also one reason why the companies or the big companies are very, very particular about the process driven work rather than the person dependent work. Compliance is the biggest word in any multinational company. Whatever you do, ensure that we are legally compliant. Ensure that we are never on the wrong side of the law. Everything, there should not be any rush, there should not be any penalty, and everything which the law requires is supposed to be done, and any deviation or any sort of adjustment in the compliance areas will be viewed very, very strictly by these corporates. Generally, any big corporates works very hard and try to create an image, and they are very proud of the image. For example, you know that Apple company is coming out as a tech savvy company. Now when Google is there, it talks about freedom of expression and it tries to be innovating every time into how it can improve yourself. Similarly, if you look at Tata, we talk about integrity. Integrity is God in Tata. So similarly in Reliance, we have the entrepreneurial spirit. So each company, there's a working or there's an image of themselves built in a particular way, and these companies are very, very particular about the image of the company, and they would like to ensure that no one does anything to see that the image does not suffer. Now when we talk about the company, there are basically, let us go into expectations. So from my side, I think that any company has got, let us get into 3 layers of expectation. What a corporates have from a freshly qualified chartered accountants. First thing is, let us see what the corporates expects from you as an individual. Then let us see what a corporate expects from you as a team member, as well as let us see what the corporate expects from you as its representative. While we talk and discuss about all these things, let us remember one thing. The expectations can change anytime. Okay, the companies work in a dynamic environment, and sometimes it so happens that the entire project could change and you'll be put into a different area, a different project where you have never worked on. But whatever it is, the core values remain the same, but the expectations sometimes change. So, what is the expectations of a corporate from you? The first thing, the corporates expect you that you behave professionally. When I say you behave professionally, yes, you are a professional, you are a chartered accountant, you have joined them. But you are supposed to have the same dignity, same knowledge, skills as what is expected out of a professional. A professional is someone who has the knowledge of the job. A professional has not only got the knowledge of the job, but a professional should have the ability to apply the theory, what you have read in various years for qualifying the CA exam. You should be able to put that theory to practical business situations. You have just read. Every time when you read a particular thing, you know that where accounting standards are involved, which income tax provisions are applicable here. So you know the basic ideas. So you are supposed to apply that knowledge in a particular business situations. Then the most important thing, as has been pointed out by several speakers here, was that we need to be communicative. Now, this is one area where when I talk with the HR personnel or when I talk with others, they say that this is where we are failing a lot. What do I mean by communicative? See, communicative does not necessarily mean that I am able to talk much. I can talk better. I can talk an English which is free of any grammatical mistakes. I can talk English in a very different accent and all. That cannot be taken as a communication. When we talk about communication, there are few things which we need to know very clearly. The first thing we need to know very clearly is that we should know what we are trying to communicate. We should definitely, before we start speaking about a particular thing, it is always better to think, to pause, think from beginning to end, what are we trying to say and what is the final outcome of what we want to say. So when you discuss a project, when you discuss a work, it should clearly start how you are going to do, what is the end result of the job. You cannot just leave the work in between and say, "Phir dekhenge how it progresses." And communication at the same time also requires that you listen to your team. You have to listen to the team. You have to praise the ideas coming from the team. And if any good ideas are coming to you, coming in the meeting, it is very, very important that you accept the ideas, you appreciate the ideas, and for some reason, if you are unable to accept the ideas, you need to explain to your team why this idea cannot be implemented as it is. If you simply listen to the ideas and do what you want to do, even though you are the best, even though your idea is best and yours is the only idea that is workable, what happens is after some period of time, your team starts getting dejected and they won't be part of the meeting and they don't try to understand what you are telling or what you want to do, because they know that finally whatever we say, you are going to take the decision. So the first thing, friends, we are going to be appointed at a top level only. There is no way you are part of a team, 100-member team, reporting to someone. Definitely, you will be a team lead, and a team of 10 people, 50 people, 100 people might be reporting to you. So here, getting the work done from the team is most important thing in our life, and the communication with our team is the only way where we can get the work done. So communication needs to be proper, clear, and it's a two-way communication is what the corporate expects from you as an individual. Then the willingness to learn. Jaybai has already told you about technology. It is very, very important that the corporates expect the individual to keep himself or herself update with the technology. Whatever new things are coming up, they expect you as a chartered accountant are aware of it and tries to at least check the technology and tries to see what are the problems connected to it and in what way this technology can help. And if the senior management wants you to apply the technology, then you should be able to take it up and pass it on to your team. You cannot say that I am an accountant, I have only done balance sheets, I have only done income tax work, so technology is something which I am not associated with. Because presently everything is technology, and technology is involved in finance, in income tax, in anything. So please be technology friendly and be updated with technology. Yes, you need not be masters of the new technological developments which are happening, but the least what a corporate expects from you is to be aware and also try to put your hand in such a way that if required, you will be able to help your team adopt to this technology. Then the next point. Look, we are heading a team. We are chartered accountant. We are people with knowledge. Everything is going well. Your team is working perfectly. The targets are met and reports are going on time. Everything is happening. This is where a complacency creeps in. Now, this is the time where you as a manager should start thinking ahead, because a thinking ahead is one quality which the corporates expect from you in a big way. You are supposed to think ahead. Everything is going on well, but is there a way or is there a situation where the work what we are doing may be hampered? Is there a way the work which we are doing so well today may not be able to be done down the line? If a problem comes, what could be the problem which we are anticipating? So what you need to do is you need to be in touch with the entire process and try to see if there are any forthcoming hindrances which may come to the work what you are doing. Now we have people who can come back and say, look, there could be this problem, this is this problem. We only talk about problem. But unfortunately, our work does not end on talking about problems. In a meeting, when you're talking to your management, you're not only talking about the problems that are likely to come, but you should always be ready with some solutions. You should have a plan A, plan B, plan C ready, because tomorrow if that problem comes and if you are unable to deliver, then please understand it would give a very wrong image of yourself, and ultimately the responsibility of not delivering it comes on you and you will be blamed for that, and it could be a black spot. So you are supposed to always think ahead, always identify the problems and be ready with some solutions and it's always advisable that you discuss the problem as well as the possible solutions with your superior in a one-on-one meeting whenever possible, and also come out with the discussion through discussions with the superior, what is the best way to move ahead if such problems come. Now, there's one more area where we have found that there are problems. We need to take ownership. When I talk about taking ownership, I'm definitely not talking about purchasing shares of the company where we work on, or trying to be the owner of that company. When I'm talking about taking ownership, I'm talking about the ownership of the process. I would like to give a small example. Now, you are heading the finance department and you know that there are certain due dates where the amount has to be paid, especially with respect to statutory deductions. For example, TDS has to be deposited on 7th, PF, etc. has to be on 15th, and so on. Now let us assume that on 7th of the month, you are not working, you are on leave. Or 6th and 7th are Saturday, Sunday, which are holiday. Now, there is no way you can say that, look, 7th was a holiday, or I was on leave, so I have not bothered to pay. That is totally not acceptable. Whenever you are doing an important job, and when it is you have to take leave on a particular day, it is very, very important that you need to properly delegate that work to some of the associate depending upon his or her credibility, and delegation itself is not enough. You have to oversee, even though you are on leave, even though you are traveling, to make a call and check that whether that particular responsibility has been complied with. Any work which has been given to you, it is your duty to ensure that the work is done. Especially with respect to TATs, that is the turnaround times. Look, what happens is you are leading a project wherein you are supposed to deliver a particular report, say on 25th of the month. Today we are on, say, 5th of the month. Now from 5th of the month, you are starting a work, and this work has to be delivered, say, on 25th. A team has been allotted to you. Ideally, you know that this work can be done till 25th, and within yourself you are confident of delivering the work, and suddenly you find that 3 of your employees who are working or who are critical employees, they just resigned and left, and 2 other people have a marriage in the house and they are not coming. So you know that out of 8 people, about 5 people are not coming. And this has happened from 11th. So now this is where the leadership skills has to come into play. You have to do a thorough recalculation and see whether you will be able to complete this project and deliver by 25th, or if you finally, after all the efforts, if you find that I will not be able to deliver this report on 25th, please understand a communication skill would also involve informing the management well in time. You cannot wait till 24th evening, go with the problem saying that 8 people are given to me, 4 resigned, 2 are on marriage, only 2 of us cannot do the work. So it cannot, you know very well on 10th of the month that this situation has happened. So it is very, very important for us that on 11th or 12th, after doing a thorough reworking and a possible solution, you go to the management and say, look, this is what has happened, because of which we fear this report may not be delivered on time. So this will definitely give the management an ample time either to communicate with their client or at least ensure that they provide with you certain additional recruitments or additional staff by transferring from separate departments so that you are able to complete. So reporting about first is TATs are very, very important. One day before, doing the job one day before is must. But sometimes if TATs cannot be met and you are aware that the TATs cannot be met due to following reasons well in advance, then it is a double duty of ourselves to ensure that we tell the management on time that we will not be able to deliver the project under the given circumstances. This is definitely expected from a chartered accountant. Now, a corporate expects that you be yourself. You do not have to fake yourself. You do not have to try to show that you are very intelligent or very humble or very, what you can say, very, you have good stamina, you are very strong or very weak. Don't try to fake yourself. Be what you are. At the same time, try to respect your colleagues as how they are. Don't try to change the world or try to change yourself for the world, because we are trying to work for a longer period. It is a very common thing which most of us have been doing it from the articles days. We generally come out and we are very judgmental about saying either my boss doesn't work is one general sentence we talk. He only enjoys, he never works, everything is done by me. Or we come out with sentences saying that fellow doesn't know anything, everything I have to do, his ideas are waste, I don't know why the company has hired him. See, the first thing what I want to tell you is that the hiring process in any company is very, very rigid, it is done after careful consideration, and they know very well what type of person is required for their project. So when a company has appointed a person, the company has seen some merit in that person. Just because he or she is not able to do the work, please don't decide that he or she is useless. There is something which you are unable to find. You need to find that and ensure that you can get the delivery from that person. So basically what happens is the company expects you to be a bit professional, and the company wants you to listen, the company wants you to identify the problem, and the company wants you to have clarity and to move ahead in life. And these are the individual capabilities what they want from you. Then we will see as a team also. Now, team player. Please understand. Here, Jaybhai has very clearly talked about, I did this, I can do this, I am good, I am so and so, and this I is something which you have to leave at home. I has got no role in corporate. In a corporate, the works undertaken are generally big roles. It's a big projects which are undertaken, and always a team works on that project. So you are a team player here. You have to be part of the team, and as a team player, you need to have the ability to see the big picture. you'll be hearing this word big picture again and again, again and again. The big picture is the ultimate thing what the company wants to do. So maybe the company would like to raise equity. That is the big picture. The company wants to bring a new product launch. That is the big picture. So ultimately, you are required to know what is the ultimate goal or ultimate thing which the company is working for. And knowing the big picture, the next most important thing what is required for you is to have a clarity on your role. What is the role you are asked to do? The company wants to go for equity. So now the company wants you to study the compliances. The company wants you to ensure that for going for the equity, please have a complete look at and then tell us what is the things which could become a hindrance or what is the area which could stop us from going for this equity. And when such a work is given to you, you know that you have to look at every compliance. You have to look into every area which could become an hindrance and which could ultimately stop the company from going for the equity issue, because and the moment if that things happen, everything is ready, but you are not filed certain returns, so you cannot file the shares. You cannot go for equity issue. Now the entire process is gone. So I generally say when we talk about the big picture, I want it is in terms of cricket. The ultimate aim or the big picture is to ensure that we win the match. Now in winning the match, there are 11 people who are playing and you are not doing all the works. So we need to know what is my role. Am I an opener and am supposed to save the wickets, or am I an opener who is supposed to just go and hit and try to give a solid start to the company? And I need to go as decided by the team. If the team is expecting that I go and give a solid start of 6 or 7 runs per over and I play 5 overs scoring only 7 or 8 runs and the entire match is gone, the planning fails. So it is very, very important that I understand my role and I try to give my 100% in achieving that particular role. I may fail, but my efforts has to be 100%. Then, after knowing the big picture and after having the clarity of role, we are supposed to take ownership of actions. Now, as a team member, I am supposed to deliver a particular project. The tact is one thing which we discussed previously. But now I am talking about a team. We know that the entire team has come together and trying to work on delivering a particular project. You are leading the team. So when you are leading the team, which often is happening because you are put at a managerial level only, you are not a subordinate. So when you are leading a team, please understand it is your responsibility to ensure that this project is finished as required by your company. If the project is not happening, there is no way you can say, look, I did my best, Mr. X did not do it properly, Miss X did not do it properly, purchase department did not give me the data, sales department did not do. You cannot start blaming others. If a project fails, it is because of you. So when you are representing the management, okay, the project has failed. You are unable to deliver on a particular project. while that is itself a big blot on you, please try to understand, if you try to start blaming others for not being able to perform or not being able to deliver, then again you are digging your own grave inside. That is a big no. You are a leader. A leader is supposed to lead the team. The team has good people, bad people, and is supposed to get work done from every type of person, because the cause depends upon the type of person we have. So if first point, keep an eye on the project, keep an eye on every person, the progress of the project, and try to give it on time. But if it does not happen, if there is a delay, as I told you, first inform the management and analyze the reasons. Analyze the reasons genuinely, where it went wrong and what could have been done better by you as a leader or by you as a part of the team. I think that way you will have your dignity properly, so it would be a better thing. In fact, the next thing as a team player, I wanted to use the word office politics, but somehow, because I'm talking to students who are going to attend the interview and join the corporates, I removed the word politics and I'm bringing the words dynamics. Look, the first thing and the most important thing for you to know in office is behavior with superiors. See, as a person's doing articles, sometimes we have the habit of straight away getting into director's cabin and just talking to them and explaining the problem. We could get away with that because we were going there as auditors. We have the habit of writing to anyone, anything without following. But when you are working with a corporate, please know that you are reporting to your superiors only and you are not bypassing them for anything. So don't jump the hierarchy. And when you are behaving with your superiors, please behave with them as a superiors. Please let them know what they are supposed to know. You cannot say that he doesn't know anything, I will do it better. He is not only putting my ideas properly to the higher level, so I will ignore him and I will write directly to the next level. I'm sorry, it is a big blunder you will be doing, and a serious action could come when you bypass your superior and try to do things. You will get an opportunity. You will get an opportunity, and definitely you can express your ideas in group meetings, but don't make it an habit to directly write to other people. Then, as you are dealing with superiors with respect, you also need to behave properly with your subordinates. You cannot be too much dependent on the subordinates. You cannot say, okay, Mr. X is perfect, he will do the job, I know he will give me the report. No, it is not permitted. You cannot be dependent on a person. You are always supposed to have the knowledge and strengths of the superiors, and wherever your superiors are making mistakes, please don't try to point out the mistakes. The biggest thing is they are part of your team. You are supposed to analyze why the mistake is happening. If the mistake from your subordinates are happening because they are unable to understand the process, if the mistake is not knowing how to move ahead, then it is important that we sit with them on one-on-one and try to explain them again and again and try to bring them as part of the team, so that the moment he or she learns the project things quickly, it is only you who are going to get advantage. But just because a person is not doing well, if you start ignoring him or ignoring her, please understand the company has placed a person in your team for a particular work. You are not giving work means you are unnecessarily pressurizing the other people and you are unnecessarily making free payment to such person, which is not good, not for the company, but for you. Your peers or the colleagues from the other group, please maintain a very cordial relationship. Don't try to get into competition and all, because ultimately discussing with peers, learning about the company, learning about the goals will always be of great help to you in moving ahead. Now, one very, very important thing. We have the support staff, which is in form of housekeeping staff or some of the peons working in the company. Okay, so they tend to make mistakes. They are sub-staff, they tend to make mistakes and they may not work as you want. And you are already angry because your boss has already told you something which you are not liked. Now, please don't take your anger on the support staff. Don't ill-treat the support staff. And more importantly, in an anger, don't talk anything bad about your boss or the superior in front of your support staff, because they are sometimes the people you must have told 2 sentences, they will add 4 sentences and go and tell your superior that this person is speaking ill about you like this. So friends, corporate is one place where you cannot talk bad about your colleagues, your peers, even to your wife at home or your spouse at home. Okay, just keep it in yourself and learn to be with them. Learn to adjust with them. Then as a team player, confidentiality is very, very important. One of the biggest confidentiality factor in any corporate is you are not supposed to discuss your salary with anyone. 2 people have joined together. One has purchased a car, you are still on your 2-wheeler. There is always a tendency to ask him, why I am getting so much? How could you buy a car? There could be so many questions coming in, seeing the behavior of your peers. But still, please understand, discussing payroll, discussing the bonuses, discussing the incentives, what you are getting is very, very bad thing for any company. And if the management comes to know that you have discussed the salary with anything, or you have just shared your pay slip or even your tax computation sheet with any other colleague, it will be taken very, very seriously. Similarly, your friend is working in a different division, working on you are having some important project. You can't keep on calling that friend and start discussing about this project. Okay, the person, you don't trust your boss. Maybe I told you it is wrong not to trust your boss, but for a time being, let us see, you don't trust your boss so much, but you have great respect for your close friend's boss. There's a tendency to always share some thoughts, what you get about the project which your team is doing with your friend, and try to get information from others' boss. Sometimes in order to get some praise from your friend's boss, we try to go and talk to them. Please understand, these are definitely a big no for the company. Any data sharing with the other teams also, outside it's a big no. It is a strict no, you cannot share it. But within the team also, only on need to know basis, if you can share the information, that will be that is acceptable, but doing too much of it also will be taken very, very seriously. Keeping calm, it is very, very important. You're all young, you get married, you have children, and we have a lot of problems also. Please understand, you cannot carry your household problems to office. Similarly, I also say that it's not the reverse way also. You cannot carry your office problems to your residence, but because we are talking about corporate expectations, please understand the anger of yours on your spouse, on your in-laws, on your parents, or on your servant, or anyone on the road, you cannot show it on your juniors. You need to respect, you need to be very objective with how you treat your juniors. You need to try to ensure that you are a go-to man. You need to have that ear for your team member to listen to his or her problem and try to give a solution. That is how a best team can be developed for you to work. And friends, avoid gender bias. Sometimes, I'm only giving an example. Please don't say that I'm talking about the gender bias. There could be men, there could be males, there could be females working in your team. Now, in present day corporate world, there is absolutely no difference between a male and a female. She is your colleague, he is your colleague, they hold a particular position and they are expected to do what that particular position demands. Sometimes it may happen that you are forced to work overnight. A work has come which is making you to work overnight. You are extending, and with a very, very genuine intention, what you told the 3 girls who are in your team was, we are working late, it's not good for you to travel in the night, why don't you go early, let the male members work. The intentions are good. On a human side, that is how it should happen. But today's world, please understand, if you are just asking them to go because they are females, please be ready for a complaint back from her, any team member, stating that my people are not allowing me to work and I am being deprived of opportunities. So please understand, gender, of course, you need to be human also. You cannot call your female colleague at 1 o'clock in the night and start discussing about the company. But if it is an emergency, if it is something she needs to know, male or female, she has to be contacted at 1:30 or 2 or 3, doesn't matter. But don't try to do or allot the works as a superior, saying that he is male, she is female, they can do, they cannot do works and all. Please avoid this. It's not acceptable. Then as a team, every corporate, you have a process where we discuss about each other. There will be one-on-one discussions. There will be a team discussions where your team members are encouraged to talk freely about each other. They'll be requested to talk freely about how you are. Sometimes a person might talk negative. Most of the time, the people might talk positive about it. But there are some times where the person could speak negative about you also. Look, the first thing you need to do is not to react badly or try to defend yourself when you get a negative feedback. Look, your managers, your superiors who are there in the meeting know your capability, know what type of person you are. So you don't have to defend yourself straight away, nor try to explain what has happened. Do a self-introspection. Try to see why this person has brought this point. Am I wrong at some place? Have I treated him or her wrongly, or was I rude to someone which brought that person to talk about me this way? So this self-introspection and this trying to improve on that is the only thing which will help you grow, and feedback will come, this negative feedback will fade in the times to come. If you start negative feedback, if you take very seriously and say, no, my people are not liking me, I want to change the company, that is escapism. And please understand, you might get a good offer, trying to be fed up with feedback, you may change the company, but again, the same thing gets repeated. I'm not against changing companies, but I'm definitely taking an escape route when a negative feedback comes about us. Then lastly, as a team player, I'll always encourage you to provide constructive and impersonal feedback. Please don't have grudge. Don't try to go personal when you are giving a feedback about your colleague, your juniors, or your superiors. Let it be thorough professional. Let it be very clear. What is that particular thing which you did not like? It has to come out openly. It should be work related. You got nothing to do with his or her personal life. And in a work, if you feel that you are not treated properly, if you feel that something has been hidden from you, there's no one who will stop you from telling. But once given a feedback, don't carry it home and try to just sit on that. Feedback is given, taken, then try to be friends. So this is how we are expected to behave. So as I told you, as a team player, we are supposed to know the basic idea. We need to have a clarity of role. We need to take the ownership of actions. We need to understand the office dynamics or politics, what I want to call. You can just take it as you want. Then ability to take feedback and giving feedback properly are one of the important things which a corporates expect you as a team player. Jawahar sir has come, so I'll quickly wind up in a couple of minutes. Look, now as a representative, as a person working for this corporate, please understand, no company would tolerate a compromise on integrity. It is their pride. No company would like to see any employee doing something which is legally wrong, doing something which is statutory. It could be at every level. It could be from giving bribes to taking bribes, or even simply filing a wrong claims to get some income tax benefit. All these things will be taken very seriously. Integrity is the highest regarded thing for any company. Please don't try to compromise, because once it is found that you are compromising somewhere here, believe me, your days in that company are numbered. What we also need to do is to learn, understand, and adopt the corporate culture. Most of us, especially the chartered accountants, we don't try to give heed to this. A small example, a corporate would like to encourage its employees, and just to keep the employees happy also, it could be taking you for a outing. And most of the outings sometimes happen on holidays, Saturday, Sunday, and no one will force you to come. You are free to come, you are free not to come. But the biggest mistake you will be doing is not going for such outing. Look, it is at that outing your other capabilities or incapabilities come out. You are playing a friendly cricket match there. Your bosses are watching you casually, in a very casual mood. It appears that they are watching in a casual mood. How you treat your team member, how you treat the person who has lost, all these things matter a lot, because in every such corporate outing, which is an informal outing, please understand there are so many eyes watching you, trying to know what you are doing. So you are studied to be in front of the seniors. So please attend such meetings. try to understand and adopt to corporate culture. CSR is one activity where if the company wants you to do, jump to it and do it. Then respect and adhere to corporate code of conduct, especially dress code. If the company wants you to dress formally, you are supposed to dress formally. Don't try to say that, no, I will dress like this. Where is it written in a constitution that I cannot wear this dress? It is a big no. You're working for the company has set the rule and you're supposed to follow. You don't wear a suit and go to the swimming pool. It is as simple as that. So please understand, dress code has to be maintained. Security related controls. Look, you are given a swipe card, you are supposed to swipe and enter. Just because the door is open, just because your friend has swiped, it is not accepted that you don't swipe the card and just get inside. It is not accepted that you just take some other backdoor entries where the swipe cards are not there, or you cannot just get into no entry, no exit zone by showing your position. It is a big no. Every security adopted, you are not supposed to go to particular sites. You are not supposed to see the Gmail. If there is a culture, you have to follow it. There is no escape. Friends, last thing which I wanted to tell you before I hand it over to Jawahar sir is that many of us are not very comfortable with reporting tools. We are not comfortable with dashboards. Simple example, you are eligible for a conveyance reimbursement. And for a conveyance reimbursement, you are supposed to go to a particular site, upload your bills, fill up the form and just do online submission. I don't know, somehow we resist that. We feel that, boss, I am in finance, my team is going, why cannot I just give him copies of these bills, or just I'll give the hard copies, let him pay. And we get habituated in trying to avoid the tools, avoid using of tools. The leaves are to be applied on tools. The reimbursements are to be claimed on tools. The investment proofs are to be submitted on tools. Your appraisals are to be submitted on tools. So please be technology friendly. Learn to adopt the reporting tools. Learn how to use the reporting tools, reporting and company dashboards, because there is no escape from it. The more you resent, the more backwards you are going. So please don't ignore the reporting tools. And lastly, as a representative, every company wants you to adhere to the processes set up by them. As I told you in the beginning, the company is not person driven and process driven. At no point of time you are supposed to break it. So friends, thank you very much for the patient hearing. Now Jawahar sir has come. Jawahar is one of the most sought after professional in Hyderabad, and definitely is one person who will add lot of value. In fact, introduction of Jawahar is again something which I don't even want to waste that time introducing Jawahar, because Jawahar's speech introduces himself. He is one person who understands what the world wants, how to deliver, and especially handling of interviews is his niche area. So Jawahar sir, I welcome you on behalf of the committee, and it's over to you for addressing the campus students. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pankaj. Can I have the screen share?
Yeah, I think you can.
Okay, it says enter your email. What's the blue jeans? It's asking for some password.
Hey, Jawahar, if you, on the screen you see one TV-like thing. If you click on
correct,
that,
I clicked that, and then it took me to the sign in.
Okay, 1 second, Jawahar. I'll just try to talk to the concerned person. Is the tech team hearing, please? The tech team, please. Yeah, please help Jawahar sir in sharing the screen. Jawahar sir, I think you have to close this and then again try to share screen. It will come.
Oh, I have to. I don't need this, is it? If I do this, it will log me out.
Yeah, you can log out and then log in.
Okay. Okay. Sharing the screen. Great. Okay. Is it visible now?
No.
Hello?
No, Jawahar.
It's not visible, huh?
Just on the top screen, beside the, you have to first open the PPT.
Yes,
on
it is
your
open.
screen.
Yeah, it's
Then
open
click,
on my screen.
yeah, then click on that box just on the top.
Has it come?
Top of the screen.
Has it
Top
come
of the
now?
screen. No.
No, I have done all that. It says click to start screen sharing. Okay.
Yeah. Now it has come. Yeah, it has come.
Wonderful. Great. So is it coming as a full screen or now it's come, right?
Now it has come.
Oh, great. Thanks a lot, Pankaj.
Thank you.
I was really I joined in the last part of your presentation. I was really immersed in the way you were guiding the attendees into the corporate culture. Thank you very much. Just wanted a quick answer from you, Pankaj. How much time do I have?
Jawahar, you can go up to 5:30 also, not a problem. 5:30.
No, it's already 5:30.
No, sorry,
It
6:30.
is 5:30. 6:30. Fine. So about an hour.
Time is 5:30, so you can go up to 6:30.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much. So I'll, without much ado, I'll just start my presentation. I'll start with how to prepare for the interviews. Now, all of you know that you have applied for certain companies or you have been asked to attend the interviews of certain companies. So before you do that, and I know that you have the interviews in a couple of days, either tomorrow or in a couple of days, but take this time, don't waste your time, even if you have to spend some sleepless nights, doesn't matter, but do extensive research on the company, the interview of which you'll be attending. It's very important that you know the background of the company, and if possible, if you have friends in those companies, it's better that you talk to them about their corporate culture and all the questions that you might have. So critical that you go into, because you are chartered accountants and because you will be interviewing for the finance department, you are expected to know the broad financials of that organization. Say, for example, you are say interviewing for say Infosys. So just go through the balance sheet, know their turnover, the basic broad thing. Try to read the board of directors reports. It will give you certain insights about the company. Read the details that have been given on what the company intends to do, because board of directors report now also wants you to talk what's the board of directors to tell about what they are looking for in the near future. So if you have that idea, you will have a better grip on your interview itself. You can do this by a simple Google search. And now today, Google can give you anything. And if you want, you can go to the company's website. If you have certain questions which are not answered by Google, please go to the company's website. The press releases that the company has given, and this you can also go from the website of, if it's a publicly listed company, you can go there and look into it. The press articles about the company. Then if it's a public company, as I said, go to the site of BSE, NSE, the SEBI listings and the filings that the company has done. Then of course, you can use the company's LinkedIn page. It is always better to have certain information about the company's competitors. It's very important because if it's a say FMCG company and they interview during the interview they ask you about the product of the company, please for heaven's sake don't talk about the product of the competitor companies. You might be using them, that's irrelevant. But as long as you keep your answer to the question that has been asked and the product of that company, you're okay. But to know that, you must understand that you have to actually know what the company does. What is the area, the service or the product service that the company is rendering, or the product that the company is, manufacturing, selling, or trading in. So it's very critical that you are aware of the company's competitors also. If you have a network of friends or maybe your friends of your relatives like father or brother or sister, try to talk to the contacts to get a little bit of the insight of the company if they have been working with the company or associated with the company in any way. If you have any idea about the people who will be interviewing, then I would suggest that you please research the people who will be interviewing you. Makes a lot of difference. It will add value. You will be able to build up that relationship in the short span of the 10-15 minutes or half an hour that you will have for the interview. If you know the people, it makes a lot of difference. Try to get the list of the people you will be meeting, which probably might not happen, but once you go to the interview, and if you are not the first person to be interviewed, you can talk to the people who have come out and know who the people are, and then probably do your research. You can just go through their LinkedIn page. A LinkedIn page nowadays talks about, the professional activities of the person, the achievements. So, the connect will be faster and easier. And in case they happen to be on the senior level, their details will be available on the company's website. So you could also do that. Always try to anticipate the questions you might be asked. I would suggest if you have some friends who have been to the interview the previous time, in the previous interview after the last exam result was declared and when the previous campus interview took place, you can ask them about what kind of questions people are answering. But remember, the idea of the interview is not to gauge your basic knowledge. They will try to gauge your knowledge to some extent. But that is not the whole idea of the interview. The interview nowadays is looking for different aspects of your personality, how you will gel in with the team, and how you are prepared, and how, as Pankaj put it, how you are proactive you are with the company. So it will anticipate these questions and prepare your answers. Do not bother about remembering anything. You prepare your answers under A, B, C, D, and you will have your preparation will be available to you in your mind. So don't worry about by-hearting anything. The moment you prepare your answers for yourself, you will realize that you will automatically remember it. If possible, conduct a mock interview. Ask for feedback of your answer, your body language, your preparedness. Remember, it is always better to understand the body language. Never ever sit like this. It shows a closed position. Though it is possible that if the room is very, very cold and you are feeling cold, you might, automatically put your hands like this. But normally, if you fold your hands like this, it would mean it's a closed position and that you are not open for any information. And that gives a very wrong information to the interviewers. So be careful about what you are, and if you are able to conduct a mock interview, then ask for the feedback about your answers, your body language, and how you have prepared. And please take the criticism from the person very seriously and correct yourself. If possible, use the company's product or service And if you are able to slightly, whenever you get a chance to talk about it, if you are able to talk about the company's product or service, if possible, you would be scoring brownie points. So take advantage of it. Remember that every company who is going to be interviewing you will automatically be going through your Facebook page or your other social media postings. So please review your social media postings in all your accounts. And if you feel that there is anything which is not up to the mark for an interview, please remove them. Because I have seen people with Facebook postings which are not in line with the company's policies, and the person was not selected. You have to dress appropriately. Pankaj has already told you, always wear a business attire. I always say, dress 10% more than what you are expected to dress. If 10% more than what the occasion demands. So it is better that you have a very formal attire. And when I say formal, I don't mean to say that you have to wear a coat always. But you can wear a tie with a full sleeve shirt. And since I understand that you will be doing interviews on the video, I will take you through that. So you'll be seated. But please don't, we have seen videos during the lockdown, don't sit with a shirt and a tie and with shorts because it's your house. Please ensure that if you dress properly, your mental frame of mind will be such that you will be answering the questions well. So dress properly, dress to the occasion, and take advantage of your mindset too. Whenever you have to interviews place, you have to arrive early. And the same goes with the video interviews also. Arrive early, be prepared, and I will tell you what all to be done in addition to what I'm going to tell you. Have your documents in hand. If the interview letter says ABCD documents, ensure that you have each and every one of them. So for their verification. And if they say that they need an extra copy that they will collect it, please take that extra set of documents to be given. If they say that they need 4 sets of documents, take the 4 sets of documents. You should not go to an interview and say, sorry, I got only 1 set or I got only 2 sets, I did not see. It means that you are not prepared, you haven't read the letter calling you for the interview, and obviously it means that you are really not interested in the company. Have a number of copies. In fact, I would always advocate that have additional number of copies of your resumes. There is a possibility that normally an interview board might be having 3 or 4 people. But suppose that the chief of HR decides to sit in an interview at the time when you are being interviewed. The person might need a copy of the resume, and it looks very bad if you don't have that extra copy of the resume. So always carry extra copies of the resume. You never know that you're called for an interview for a company and you suddenly bump into another company's representative who has taken a liking for you and your, the way you're standing, the way you're talking to other people. And if somebody gives you a chance of giving them a copy of your resume, why not? So always have extra copies. In your resume, list the references including the title, the company, and the contact information of the person. Very critical, because if you just say, my reference is V. Jawahar, probably the company person might not know. So what will happen? They will say that the reference has properly not been given. So ensure that whenever you give a reference, you give a proper title of the company, the name of the company, and also the entire contact information of the person. And one more thing is, ensure that you have spoken to that person and told the person that you are giving his name as his or her name as a reference for your interview. Whenever you are called for the interview, it means that you have applied for it. And once you have applied for it, you obviously know the job description. So it is very not proper on your part to go into the interview and say, what am I expected to do? It leaves a very, very wrong taste for the interviewers, and they know that you're really not serious about your job application. And always remember that they know your skills. You have put them in your resume anyway. So whenever they are questioning, ultimately what is the interviewer seeing? Whether your education and your skill match your answers. So whenever you get an opportunity, whenever you're giving an answer about a certain experience, always try to match the skill that you have been talking about in your resume to what you have done. And that will give you an additional bonus points, because in my opinion, more than 60% of the interviewees fail in this aspect. So take advantage. Now that I'm telling you, ensure that in answers, wherever it is possible, fit in your skills and qualities to the questions that are being answered. Be as friendly and engaged with as many people at the company. As the moment you start your interview, I'm sure as your interview process starts from the time you enter the premises. So therefore, do remember that when you are interviewing the company, people are watching you. I know a lot of companies who actually ensure that someone or the other is watching the candidates as soon as they enter. And then the interviewers themselves will be watching all your actions right from the time you knock on the door. So remember that get engaged with as many people in the company as possible. If you are entering a physical interview, if you are entering into a physical interview into the company's premises or maybe a hotel, doesn't matter. Remember that you need to be very polite even with the person who is at the reception. And they are the people who will be giving, to whom you will be giving the first impression. And they are also trained to judge you. In fact, not really judge, but to talk about what they feel about you. So therefore, there is nothing wrong in being extra polite with all the people. And when you go, please don't wear your headphones. And nowadays with the iPods, the earpods that you have, please remove the earpods. Not only having earpods in a normal meeting shows your disrespect, but especially in case of an interview, it obviously means that you don't really respect the interview process. Most of the interviews that I have conducted, we always ask the interviewees at the end about whether they have any questions. So be prepared with at least 4 or 5 questions to ask the interviewers. I will tell you later what questions not to answer and what questions to answer. So I'll stop at this on this particular point. Always prepare for behavioral questions, because your knowledge, you have passed your chartered accountancy. The interviewers know that the CA is one of the world's toughest courses, and if you have passed, they know that you have the knowledge. So they really don't care about how you're going to ask the subject-related questions. Yes, they do. It will be given sufficient weightage, but more weightage will be given to the behavioral questions. View the interview for what it is. An interview, as the name suggests, it's a conversation between people. It is not that somebody is asking you a question and you are answering them. It is not that people want to question you. What people are actually looking forward is a dialogue between the persons talking in a room. You might be facing 3 or 4 people and you will be having a dialogue. So for example, if one question is asked by one particular person, say sitting on the left side, on your left side, you should not answer the entire, give your entire answer to that person. You do have to look at that person, but also look at the remaining 3 people. See whether they are nodding at what you are saying. That will give you the confidence. And if they say no, you will get a cue that probably your answer is not what they are expecting. So you'll have a chance to change your answer. And therefore it's important, treat this entire thing as a conversation and you will be very, very comfortable. When going to this, don't make the mistake of trying to check the directions for the interview on the last day. It is possible that your phone will not work. It is possible that you might not, your vehicle might not work, and you might have to go on a cab, and the cab person might not know where it is. So they might take you to the certain point, but from there you might have to guide the person. And therefore it's important that the day before, at least the latest is the day before the date of the interview, you check the directions. In fact, I would say Google it and go through the route and ensure that you are very well aware of the route. The day previous to the interview, ensure that you have a good night's sleep and eat well. And the simple reason is, if you eat well and if you have a good night's sleep, you will be totally relaxed. And a relaxed person fares an interview better than a person who is not relaxed. Always be on time. Remember, when I say time, if your interview is at say 10:30, you have to be waiting, ready to be called by 10:15. There are companies which say that please be at the venue at 10 o'clock for the interview at 10:30. So please ensure that you are at the interview spot at 10 o'clock. Therefore, please be there 15 minutes ahead and wait for take the directions on which floor to go and which room to be in and all that. And therefore, it's critical that you give enough time to yourself to be on time for the interview. Don't ruin your first impression. This is very critical. People dress up very well and they come in. The first thing that really gives I judge a person the first time is the moment they knock. How loudly have they knocked? If somebody is knocking very loudly, it disturbs the interviewers. So your knock should be gentle, but at the same time ensure that it is not inaudible. It should be audible, gentle, and at the same time, the interviewers should not be disturbed. And the moment you will hear them saying, please come in, you walk in, give them a smile, and then before you sit, shake hands with them. And now people might say it is COVID and therefore do not shake hands. So at least say namaste. When I say means shake hands, it is possible if you will realize whether people are shaking hands or not. But if somebody says namaste, please ensure that you do namaste properly. Don't be arrogant. There should be a slight bend in your body when you say namaste. Let people know that you are humble. Please, for heaven's sake, don't chew gum. I know that chewing gum relaxes your body, but that is not the place to chew gum. If you chew gum, it shows arrogance. Please don't do that at all. And when you are talking, don't clasp your hands. It is possible that you think your hands are not seen when you are sitting, but normally what we do is we don't let the candidates sit too close to the table of the interviewers. We put their chair about say 2 feet away, so that the person has to bend to put their documents on the table and then sit and relax. When you relax, ensure that when you are talking, your hand movements are open. This is an open position. But if you clasp, it shows that you are tense. And a tense person can always make mistakes. Because the moment you close your hand, it is sending a signal to your mind that you are tense, even if your mind is not tense. So therefore, have an open demeanor, open body language. It will help you relax automatically. Whenever you are talking, I have seen people, they put their head down while answering or look up while answering. That again is not proper. Always look into the eyes of the interviewers, but don't stare. You are just conversing, so don't get carried away and don't be afraid of anything. So just converse with them as if they are your friends or as if they are your bosses. There is nothing to be afraid of, and as long as you have an eye contact with them, always keep a little smile if possible. If the question demands, Please do that. If it's a very serious question and you smile, again, it's a wrong information. So therefore, you please keep an eye contact, smile a little, and then that will ensure that the interviewers also are relaxed. As I already mentioned in the dressing part of it, please dress business. And when I say business, you have to be, at least the minimum you should have is a good, well-pressed shirt, a full-hand shirt, and a tie, and a dark trouser if possible. That will be very nice. In case of girls, please don't dress gaudily. If you are dressing, if you are wearing a pant and a shirt and a small jacket, fine. But ensure that it is not gaudy, not design, it's not too colorful. Don't overwear your jewelry. Don't apply too much of on your face, too much lipstick or anything else extra on your face. You should look simple, and ensure that you are very comfortable. Wear comfortable shoes. Don't try to wear high heel shoes. Nobody is interested in your height. What they are interested in, you. And therefore, if you are uncomfortable, this is not a party where you want to look a bit taller than what you are. Therefore, wear comfortable shoes and you will be fine. Don't worry about it. And we would like to have people who are really, really comfortable. It shows that you're confident. And if you don't do that, you are the loser. So dressing is very important. Please, for gents, please ensure that your shirt and trousers are well ironed. There is a proper crease. Wear a tie. If you don't know how to wear a tie, please get the tie knotted by someone and at least wear it properly. Always ensure that when you wear your tie, the top button is always closed so that your tie lands perfectly on your throat. When you are a question is being asked, and if you have long hair, don't try fiddling with your hair. It gives an impression that you are flirting. Don't try to do. I don't think anybody wants to give that kind of an impression. And while fiddling, you automatically are distracting the interviewers. And once the interviewer is distracted, the questions can be very strong on you. So rather than trying to distract them, be with them and engage them in your talk, in your discussion, your body language, your eye contact, your voice. I came across one person in one of the interviews which I really liked, and that was, when he realized that two interviewers were talking amongst themselves, this person raised his voice a little, just a decibel more, and that caught the attention of the interviewers and they came back. I really thought that was a fantastic thing that a person did, and I thought I'd share that with you. Conversation topics, there are a lot of conversations to break the ice. They will be asked a lot of things by the interviewers. We normally talk about anything under the sun just to make you comfortable before we actually land up in the complete interview mode. And therefore, be prepared with the conversation topics, especially the current topics. The current topics, for example, today the current topics are mainly two. One is Ukraine and the second is the Kashmir files. But remember, don't go political. They are not interested in your personal opinion. It's just a matter of conversation. You can always state that, I read this in the paper and this is what our government is doing. They might try to corner you by saying, that the US has put an embargo on Russia, and so why is India purchasing oil? So be prepared for answers like that. It's a matter of conversation. So be prepared for it. And in case of Kashmir files, it's say India is a secular country. So why is it that people are getting this? So try to avoid anything that will go political. If you have any impression on the Kashmir files, you can talk about it if you want to. But so long as you do not get carried away by your political leanings. Even when you are in the interview room, when you're waiting for people, don't invade on personal space. Give them space. A normal space would be at least 1.5 feet. Stand at least 1.5 to 2 feet away from the persons. Especially now in COVID, they say 6 feet. But then, ideally, if you are in a room and talking to some people, don't invade the personal space. And the moment you see someone take a step back while you're coming forward, the cue is it's time to stop. Don't ruin your first impression. I continue this. Distracting noises. A lot of people have this habit, of making noise on the throat while talking. Try to correct yourself. And if it distracts too much, as I already told you, the interviewers will get distracted, which will go against you. For heaven's sake, just put your phone on an airplane mode. Don't even put it on vibration mode. And don't check your phone when you are at the interview place. That is not the time for you to check the phone. And I'm sure heavens are not going to fall if you don't check your phone for the couple of hours. If you know who the people are, don't make the mistake of forgetting the people's name. And how would you feel if someone forgot your name? It is the same with others. So if you have to remember someone's name, please remember their names. And otherwise, you are ruining your chances at the interview. Don't be late, I already told you. Now, here is what is important. When you are talking, don't say, sorry for taking your time. You're not taking the time. You have been asked to come there. And therefore, you should not be sorry. And they will also not be sorry because you have come here to sell your skills to them. And they have come here to see if they can buy your skills. And therefore, there is no point in talking about taking your time. There are a lot of people, have the habit of saying fine or saying using the word like in their sentences. Try not to do that. If somebody says, how are you? Your answer should not be fine. You should say, I am fine. If you say fine, it gives an impression as if you are angry and you don't want to answer them. And therefore you are saying fine. But if you say, I'm fine, it's good. And I would go one step ahead. I normally do that when I'm talking. If somebody asks me, how are you? I'll say, I'm fine. Thank you so much for asking. It means that, there is a conversation between the two people. So use that technique. Don't just wish by saying, hey, hi, they are not your friends. They are your interview members. And if you have some friends waiting in the waiting hall, you can go and say hi to them, but be polite because just remember, as I told you, others are watching you. It's nice to see you is a very common thing, which we use. But nice to see you also has a negative connotation. They will feel that you are being overly polite. So you can say, hey, nice to see you. And how have you been? Add something since the last time we met. How have you been since the last time we met? Hope everything is all right. That makes a different conversation. So be careful on what you're doing, and I'm sure you'll do great. And if you want to ask someone out to have a coffee, don't say, can I buy you a coffee? Instead say, would you like to have a chat over a coffee? That makes a better sense. So be careful in using your words. I told about the questions. I told you about how I'm going to talk to you about the questions that you should be asking. Forward-thinking questions are very important. Look into the future of the companies, and you can ask about for example, you can ask if the interview says, do you have any questions? You can say, yes, sir. I would like to know what would be my growth in this company. I would like to know what the people who have joined before me, where are they at this particular point of time? So you are actually asking, you are concerned about your growth in the company, and you are actually wanting to know. And that makes them also very quite happy. as I told you, learn. You can ask the culture of the company. You can also talk about. I would like to know what do the people do after office hours in the company. That will give you two answers. One is whether there is a culture of working late, or whether there are people who go and play some games and the facilities available in the company. So you will get all those answers. You can ask about, sir, at this present moment, what are typically the challenges in the department where you're joining? Obviously, it will be finance department. So you can say them. So obviously, I'll be working in the finance department. Therefore, what are typically the challenges at this juncture, so that I can be prepared to face them and hit the ground running. So tell them why you are asking, and also say that you are prepared to take up the challenge. And you can also ask, as I told you, what is the position of the people who have joined before you, and what are their success stories. So this is a very, very polite way of asking how people have been successful before you. And that will give you an idea of what the company is doing in the interest of their employees. And when you ask these questions, you are actually showing interest in the company, your interest in the company. And when you show interest in the company, obviously, they will know that you genuinely want to be a part of the company. How have past employees been successful in this company will automatically show them that you are not here for a short time. It will also tell them that you are a long distance runner with the company, and you are interested in the future of the company and your own future with the company. That makes a very, very positive impression. You can say that, sir, what made you choose to work here? If you realize that they are working in the same department where you will be working, you can say, sir, may I ask you, what made you choose to work in this company? That will again give you a lot of advantage. They will be interested in answering your question and make you comfortable in what you are getting in for. This is another wonderful question. What is your favorite part of working for the company? There the question will be, it can be the working hours, it can be the culture of the company, it can be the facilities provided by the company, it can be the expectations of the company on what the deliveries are, how they expect the employees to be delivering what the company wants. And it will also tell you what would be the rules and regulations in part. Of course, you will be told that in detail once you join. You can ask detailed questions about the department. Based on this is a last question before you leave. You can say, based on what we have discussed, is there anything that leaves you with hesitating to hire me for this position? This is a question which I would expect an interviewee to ask. That gives you two things. One is, you are indirectly asking them how you have fared. And you are also telling them that you are very keen to have a feedback from the interviewers. So both these facets are very, very important for the interviewers. They know that you are genuinely interested in improving yourself, if at all you have fared, not fared to their expectation. And therefore, this leaves a very positive vibe. And if you ask this question, if I was the interviewer, I would personally say, this is a person I would like, because it shows that you are proactive. And this is a person that I would like to be hiring. Now, these are the things that you should never say in the interviews. What would I do in this role? Friends, you have applied for this role. So you are expected to know what your role is. Don't make yourself a fool by asking this question. You are not a Superman or a Spider-Man that you can handle any situation. You are a human being. So you will have faults. So don't say that I can handle anything any situation, I can manage it. It is impossible. What this will, if you answer questions, if you make these statements, it means that you are overconfident, and an overconfident person always tends to make mistakes. So you don't want to be seen as an overconfident person. For most of you, this is going to be your first job. So don't mess it up by asking about the pay. Later on, when you are changing jobs, if necessary, at that particular point of time, it is fine, but not at this. So don't make that mistake. I have tried to ask people on what they think about their old bosses, old company and old colleagues. Majority of the time, people are smart. They only talk positive about the companies and their colleagues and their bosses. For heaven's sake, please don't talk anything negative. It's a strict no-no. Because the impression that you are giving to the interviewer is that you are a person who will talk behind their back, and you will talk bad about them also. And therefore, you don't want to be seen as such a person. So therefore, even if you get an opportunity to bash your old boss or company or colleagues, please see that you don't talk anything, even an iota of negativity. I hope you understand the difference between confidence and cockiness. Cockiness is when it is purely on me. Anything that you're talking about, your previous experience, it was only because of me that the project got done. It was only because of me that the team performed well. It was only because of me that the company got the orders. That is cockiness. But if you talk about a company as a team, my team did very well. I had a great team. They worked with us, and we had to run against the time. You can talk about everything, but the moment you talk about your entire team, it shows your confidence. It shows your leadership skill. So be very, very clear about this. Let them not know that you really need the job. You are not there to beg them for a job. You are there to sell your product. Your product is your skill. And therefore, don't let them know that you really need the job. They don't care. If you don't know the answers, say that with a smile. I'm sorry, I don't know the answer. Don't try to say, I'm really nervous and therefore I'm sorry, I'm unable to answer a question. Don't fidget around and do anything. Be very honest with them. They are there for your honesty. And if you really don't know the answer and you tell them, you're saving time for them. And they know that you are honest, and therefore that will work in your favor. Please don't talk about recommendation. I know that in India there is a lot of recommendations that happen, but never talk about who has recommended you and why the interviewer should look forward to taking you into the company. It's a strict no-no. As I already mentioned about this, don't try to tell them that you have not used their product or watched their shows. Please go to their website and make sure that you have something to say. You might not have used their product, but you can say that, hey, my sister uses the products and she says they are fine. I personally have not used. Be honest about it. There is no problem. And it also at the same time shows that you are interested in the company. So don't worry about it. As I already told you, don't talk about their competitors. It's a strict no-no. Now let me come to what is going to happen to you. You are going to be, I'm told that you are going to have the interviews on Zoom, online. So here are the things that are very critical for it. Everything that I have told you till now has to be done even for interview on video. Plus, you must be at home or office. It should be a closed room. It should be quiet. So be sure that there are no sounds which will distract you or the interviewer. See that people don't keep walking behind you. Even if it is your house, please ensure for the purpose of the interview, you take up a quiet corner. If you have to, and your house is small, which in many cases it is, then please ensure that your back is to the wall. And therefore, there is no disturbance behind you. And that makes all the difference. And at the same time, request the people in your house not to be talking loudly and not to disturb you for those few minutes of your interviews. Please attend the interview on your laptop or desktop only. Don't attend the interview on your mobile phones. Because the moment you are on your mobile, the interviewer would be knowing that you are on your mobile. So please ensure that you use laptop. It gives a very, very good impression, and you will be more comfortable, because if you keep the mobile phone, it can slip and fall, or a lot of things can happen, and therefore it's always better to have a laptop. Even when you are moving, the screen is not moving, and that is important. Otherwise, it will be like a movie a movie taken on a horseback, which will leave a very bad impression. It will go against you. Your background, sound quality, picture quality, angle of the computer, and non-distracting backgrounds, I have spoken about it. These are a strict to-do things. Ensure that you check the quality of your picture, and if you have if it's on a Zoom, ensure that you do a touch base with your friend or somebody on their computer. Go into the Zoom and see whether your voice is properly audible, whether you are seen properly, there is proper lighting on your face. It's important, because people want to know what your expressions are, and therefore if the light is not falling properly on you, it might not give a proper impression. And therefore ensure that you sit in a place where there is a light from the front, not a glare but a light. So there is sufficient light so that your face is visible totally. Remember that if you can't be heard, it is your loss. Test with a friend ahead of time. Know how and where the controls are. So just ensure that you are very, very thoroughly comfortable with all the controls. I know that all of you will be very, very nervous at the interview. Don't worry. Calm your nerves. Stay cool. And remember, always have that smile on your face. The moment you smile, your lips will part a little. And without your knowledge, that will be sending a message to your brain that you are not nervous. And the brain will start calming down. It will be an advantage for you. The camera sucks a lot of energy. So it is always better that you lean forward. You lean forward a bit so that people can totally see your interviews. I am sitting back because it's more comfortable for me at the moment, and I am not in the interview. So whenever you are interviewing, remember that you lean forward and look into the camera. Smile into the camera. That will be all that you have to do. As I already told you, dress well, ensure that the sounds are proper, and when you are close to the camera, everybody can see your expressions. If you know that when you in all these apps, there is a corner which shows you can see yourself. So never keep looking at yourself. So don't worry about it. In fact, I would normally do one thing. I would take a sort of the sticky note and put it on the square so that it doesn't distract me. And once I put it there, I can't see myself, and therefore I have nothing to lose. I keep concentrating on the camera itself. Please remember, you asked for the interview, you asked to be interviewed, and therefore you need to be totally invested in the interview. If you are not invested in the interview, it is not for the interviewer's to take you because of your connections, because of your beauty, because of your looks, because of your charm. They are there to interview. They will be assessing how you interact with them during the interview, and that is what is going to be important at that particular moment. And therefore, be totally invested in the interview. Most people don't prepare and go the extra mile. Always remember that if you are asked a question, as I already told you, that extra mile is the component where you link up your skills with what the question that is being asked. So try to prepare answering the questions, and that is the extra mile. And if somebody says that, given a scenario and a task is to be done, prepare to answer that extra mile of what you would do personally and how you would take your team to do it. And that will show that you are a person who's willing to do extra than what is demanded. And such are the people who are always being selected. Now I'll tell you how to look good on the video. If you are at home or in the office, find the most flattering natural light from the front. You should not be in a direct sunlight, but you should be at a point. In fact, when I'm this is my office where I'm sitting, but when I'm at home, I am in my bedroom and I have a table light facing the wall, and I switch it on, and there is without a glare, my entire face is lit up. So when I'm talking on my business calls and all, I always use that, because on international calls especially, they are late at night, so I would not be in the office, and therefore I use that kind of a lighting. So remember, the most flattering natural light that you can get is the best. Otherwise, place your lighting in such a way that there is no glare on your face. At the same time, it takes care of all the shadows that can come in. If you have a house and you're going to do it in the house, sitting in the house, please take your camera facing you. Wherever you find the best light, place your laptop or a desktop there and then face the interview. Direct light should not be on you. It should be facing from the top. So if you have a wall, if you're facing a wall, ensure that the light is onto the wall and you have only the reflection on you, not the direct light. Otherwise, what happens is, on a direct light, you will have light reflecting off your face, so which could be easily avoided. Look at the camera angle where you look very beautiful and pretty. Remember, what is the first judgment that you make about the people? You might not judge a person fully, but a person's appearance also helps you make the very important decision in your life. Similarly, the interviewers also are looking at impressing the interviewers, and therefore you have to look better, have the camera angle in such a way that you look your best. You can use a pop socket. When I say pop socket, if you as a last resource, if you don't have a laptop or a desktop and you are forced to use your mobile phone, then use the pop socket. That is, place it on a table in such an angle that it is directly in front of your face and it is sitting in a cup or something so that it doesn't move, doesn't fall. So use that only as a last resort. I told you, don't use makeup overly. You lose your light makeup and look you good. Keep distractions at the minimal background. No, I have used that. Ensure that you have everything with you on the table. You should not fidget. You should know where exactly in your folder you have kept what. Because if the interviewer asks you for, your 10th standard certificate, you should not be searching for it. You should be able to directly take it and give it to them. So know what is where in your folder. Now, during the interview, timing is important. I have spoken about it. Interview, body language, be open about it. Questions, I have already spoken. Ending the interview, I have already spoken. Take the chance, take advantage of the time given to you and asking how you yourself fared. I've already spoken about it, I'll not go. After the interview, please analyze your interview. Inform your references about the interview, and they might tell them that they might get a call asking for information about you, and that they should be prepared to give. If necessary, please send a follow-up email. Thank the interviewers, remind them of the meeting, and mention how pleased you were to get in touch with them. And if the interview had shown in any of your past projects, attach a sample of your project. It shows that you really want them to know what you have done, and that yes, what you told them was the truth, and therefore it's very important. Mention your motivation qualities and reiterate your interest in the organization. And politely you can ask them about an update on the interview process. What is happening, sir? I haven't heard about it. You'll get your answers for that. Pankaj, we are at 6:30. Can I take a couple of difficult questions or?
No, it's better, Najawar, because it's going on well from my side. It is so, as long as it benefits the student.
No, I don't mind it. I mean, that's because you said 6:30. I'm looking at it.
You asked for time, I said 6:30, but if you can take it, nothing like it. It's only helping the student.
Sure, definitely. I have a few of the difficult questions that are normally asked.
Please take.
I'm sure that, it will be helpful to the people. One of the questions is, they'll ask you, are you a team player? Now, what is it that the interviewer wants to know? He wants to know how well you perform as a member of a team, whether you have participated in previously as a member of a team. Normally, you are expected to have worked as a team. Nobody would be working solo. So indirectly, the question that is being asked is, how did you play as a team member? Remember that it is difficult for the interviewers to judge your performance and the successes that you have claimed in your resume. And therefore, these questions will also tell them how you have been a team player. And what is also important is how you tell them how your participation in the team benefited the team. In your resume, just see, most of you would be saying that you are a team player. Now, you have to tell them how your position in that team actually benefited the team. And that's important. And that is what the interviewer is looking about. What was your specific role is important. And, in this similar questions, the team interviewer would be actually expecting to know how your knowledge, your experience, your behavior, your team play benefited your team, and how your team benefited the organization. So prepare for these questions in this manner. Your leadership role, your positive attitude, your motivation, your team play, how did it happen and how did it benefit? And that is what they are looking at in this question. Have you ever had a conflict with your boss or a professor? Now, this question has got a lot of connotations. Indirectly, they are asking, what is the bad qualities of your boss? Never fall into the trap. What you should say is, and this question is asked because it is not available on your resume, and it is to understand how you would deal in conflicting situations. It's very important to know as an individual whether you can take the pressure, whether you can handle conflicts. So prepare for this question, whether how outgoing you are, how proactive you are, how much effort you put in understanding the situation, and how concerned you are about others without jeopardizing your own work. If you are a person who are always willing to help people and you are behind schedules, that's not a simple no. But how well you can, a conflict situation might arise when your boss might tell you that you have to help someone do something, you have a deadline to achieve. Within that, how would you ask the other person? How would you share your knowledge with the other person or other team members? And how would you take the entire team forward? That is how you should be prepared. These are the answers that you should know. And always remember that you use these, bring in this term of a win-win situation. It is always possible that because of this conflict with your boss or your professor, your time schedule got delayed. But how did you bring it into a win-win situation? What are your greatest strengths? This is a very, very typical question that we ask. What we want to know from this is your core competency and whether they align with the job role. So remember, just because you have prepared a resume for one interview, that same resume will work for another interview, because the roles might be different. The company's products and services might be different. Therefore, and please remember that the resume is not a static one. It will constantly should be updated for the role that you're going to play. And we talk about the strengths. If the company requires your leadership skill in that role, you have to, display your skill in projecting the your leadership skill. If it requires you to display your team skills, then you have to ensure that, you bring in these skills together. And that's important, isn't it? How, do you have an accurate view of yourself? I would personally feel that when you write your resume, don't try to download some resume and copy it. It's very important that you spend a lot of time writing your own resume. You know yourself better. And if you have certain drawbacks, certain weaknesses, you should be able to properly cover it up and, show that also not as a weakness and how you overcame that weakness. To ensure that you have an accurate view of yourself. Can you give an example of how you use that strength? The moment you talk about your strength, the next follow-up question will be how you use the strength. So you should be prepared to answer, give a situation, a team role where you have played, and how your strength you were able to use to overcome the difficulty or the conflict or achieve your goal. Here you are. What is your greatest weakness? You shouldn't be able to say that. You shouldn't say that I get angry very fast, or I don't like to appreciate others. That is my weakness. Never ever talk about your weakness like that. You should always put down your weakness. At the same time, you should say how you have been able to overcome that weakness. What they are trying to know is whether you are actually capable of learning, whether you are self-aware, and whether you are honest. I came across in an interview when I asked them about what's your greatest weakness, and the person said, I have no weakness. I know the person is lying. Don't fall for it. You might be having the greatest weakness, but don't present it there. That is not the time and place for you to present it. Present a weakness that you have corrected or that one that you are actively working on. I made a mention of this. What qualities should they might ask you, end up asking you, what qualities should a successful manager have? So they are actually trying to ask you, what is your work style? What are your qualities? And how you can help the organization with your qualities. How you respond positively or negatively in situations earlier. And you can give examples. Always remember that there is enough and more time for you to give examples. And if you are able to give examples, not a story, but your own personal experiences, That will be the most important thing. That is what people are looking forward to. And let me tell you, if you have had personal experiences and you are able to share with them, chances are that you will be selected faster and more in a guaranteed way than the other people. And therefore, it's important that you share your experiences there. How problematic employees can be avoided. Then focus on leadership qualities of the manager and how it helped you deliver. So indirectly, what I'm trying to tell you here is that first put down your qualities on paper. And having put down your qualities on paper, work on them and answer all these difficult questions. And once you have answered these difficult questions, I think you should do fine. It's a great pleasure for me to have shared my experiences with you. I'd have loved to share a lot of other difficult questions, but I know that the time is short. You also need to prepare yourself. Remember that you need to be prepared with what is happening in the world. Don't forget to read the newspapers, at least for the last 3-4 days. Know what is happening, and wish you the very best of luck. And I sincerely wish that we had enough and more time for me to handle a lot of other difficult questions. Do we have some question answers here, Pankaj? Or
The way this presentation is there, I don't think I can see the questions, Jawahar. I think you give your email ID to.
Okay, I will like to please note down my email ID. It is vjawahar@live.com. That is vjawahar@live.com. So if you have any questions, please feel free to send your questions to me on my email, and I will ensure that you get an answer as soon as possible. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jawahar.
And
thank you very much.
Pankaj, before I hand it over to you, I'd like to thank you and Dayanivas for giving me this opportunity. And I hope all the people who have attended this program will benefit out of my experiences and my presentation. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I'm sure others should have been benefited, Jawahar, but only my complaint is why you did not say all this 30 years back when I became a chartered accountant. Okay. Anyhow, friends, thank you. On behalf of Committee for Members in Industry and Business of the ICA, at the outset, please accept my best wishes. Let us do our best in interview. One thing after speaker was telling in the morning, the vacancies are more and the candidates are less. So there's a good hope. Please put your best foot forward, but remember one thing, you are the face of ICA. Brand ICA image is in your hands. Please do not do anything which will create a dent or get a negative thing for brand ICA, and always try to see that the image of brand ICA always goes up, and we are proud to be calling ourselves chartered accountants. Thank you. That's all from now. Thank you.
Thank you so much.